There was no other choice.
No,
there was no other choice. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Granny's Peach Tea. And there it is. This is the giant-sized issue that you get, the annual, whatever the heck you want to call it. We're officially 100. So,
wow.
Yeah, welcome back to it.
100 with triple digits.
Oh, wow. And there's
look at that.
Say congratulations. First appearance, right? It's a little time.
It's an unpaid appearance. Just make sure she knows it's unpaid.
Yeah, she's got it. Oh, wow. Okay, so it's going to stay. Thanks for joining us. As always, if you're joining us on the Facebook live stream, if you're joining us on YouTube or Twitter or Instagram, or if you found the audio on the podcast, we always appreciate the support. And with us tonight, well, with me as always, first of all, is Jason. Jason, what's up? Happy 100.
Happy 100, guys. I got to say, to resolve this bit that I've been doing for the past, 20 episodes, I've been demanding the Quinjet and the PCP mansion and a party as such. And I'm going to tell you guys, I didn't think Farachi was going to follow through. Quinjet on my roof last night. Boom. You guys were all there, man. Like, I partied with such A-list Avengers as Iron Man, Captain America, and Eric Zant. All right?
That's some big ones there.
It was huge. The only problem was the Kang variant showed up. He who remains sober. He was a downer. But everyone else, a lot of fun. Farachi, thanks for the party, my friend.
Anytime. Hey, and you ask and I deliver sometimes.
and for if you're, I'm sure you are familiar, if you're familiar with Pop Culture Pros, but we got Steve Farachi, the Vince McMahon, or the Stan Lee, if you will.
Oh, there we go. Okay,
there we go.
All right. Either way, I'm old and decrepit, but or unalive.
Stanley lives forever, man.
Yes. Yeah, I've transitioned from Vince McMahon to Triple H.
Okay, that's right.
On the Just Too Sweet show. So when I go on there, I'm the game, baby. I'm the game.
Nice.
Not under the shirt or anything, Well,
I mean, you might have to do that sooner or later with the water bottle and all the other stuff. It could get messy.
My God. It does get messy. I did it here, and it landed all on my keyboard.
Oh my God! I didn't know that.
That was that. But holy shit, 100 freaking episodes. Man, you know what I was thinking about was that every single time we've added a show, you just don't know. It's like a job interview, right? They could put on the perfect performance. You hire them, and you bring them in, and they're the worst employees ever, right? Well, the equivalent would be guys that or gals that jump on, start doing a show, do an episode maybe, and then be gone. There's an old wives' tale in the podcast industry that if you can get past 9 episodes, that's the line of dedication. So if you don't get there, you kind of screw yourself. But if you get there, you're like, okay, I'm in, and then you find yourself at 100 episodes. So, proud as hell of you guys. You guys are now the third, which is holy shit, the third show on the network that has now reached the century mark. Put in the books. That's understandable because that went way back. Just Too Sweet now at 113. You guys at 100. A to Z show is going to hit 75 on their next one. But to kind of reel it back in here, your knowledge is off the charts. People who tune into your show, they come here because of your knowledge, your dedication, and the passion that you have for Marvel and somehow DC.
Wow.
I kid. And where else can you kind of get into talking about the Hoff? The Hoff is mentioned all the time on this.
True.
You know, we're gonna, you know, now you got 100 episodes, so now I have some maneuverability when I go to that table read with the Hoff, so I can get him on the show.
Ooh, okay.
Don't toy with me, Fred. Don't toy with me.
Don't toy with me.
Play with our emotions.
But hey, look, all that stuff is important, because if you're gonna do a show like this, especially a lot of people don't like to do the video stuff, but if you're gonna do a show like this, you have to be passionate about it. You have to be knowledgeable about it, because you're gonna get called out if you're not. And I'm just glad to have you. I'm glad to have you here. As corny as that part might sound, I broke out the 18-year Jameson
Ooh,
for this bad boy.
Wow. Okay.
Cheers to 100.
Cheers. I'm sorry.
A ton
Cheers.
more. I'm not even going to say just 100 more. Just a ton more to Granny's peach tea.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, boss man.
Yes, of course, absolutely.
That means a lot. Thanks. We're happy to be here. Thank you for letting us do the show, you know, and be a part of the network. And you know, we just have a blast doing this every single week. And you know, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun being part of the PCP family. You know, very supportive.
Great people. You know, we've you forget all the other stuff. We've met some great people along the way. You know, I've been able to meet you guys. I didn't know Tim until he just was like, oh, you know, scrolling through Facebook, and he was like, Keith, the hell are you doing on Facebook? And then, you know, he reached out and he started with the Giants. Dave goes way back to the other site from probably 8 years ago. Wow. Now Bert goes back a long way. Nardo, Jader here and there. Kyle, I met at randomly sat next to him. He won a contest to see Far From Home. Randomly won a contest. His mom, it's a little bit personal. His mom had just passed, and he won this contest to see Spider-Man, which is what he wanted to do. Sat next to me, struck up a conversation, gave him a card, and you know, he always, you know, he likes to talk about how, you know, the contest, and then sitting in that particular seat was kind of like, you know, his mom, you know, pushed him a little bit nice. to get into this, what he loved to do. So I don't undervalue the friendships that I've made throughout doing this. And look, now we've got Don, we've got Skyline Reviews, and Ashley is actually on the other side of the county right now on the beach side. She's down here for work. Oh, wow. And the first thing that she wanted to know was why are there so many was it taco places? A lot of taco places on Fort Lauderdale Beach. But go ahead, Jason. I don't know if you wanted to.
No. I was just I second what Ed was saying. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy having a platform to talk the nonsense and do the ridiculous bits I get to do. I don't know if you're aware of this, boss man, but I performed the first mass baptism on the PCP episodes ago into the Church of Kal-El, praise be to him, which I created for this show.
Look at that, the creativity just.
It gives me an avenue for all sorts of ridiculousness, and I appreciate that avenue.
and Jason, I guess also specifically for Granny's Peach Tea, though, the concept of Granny's Peach Tea started off as an audio only podcast that Jason actually, me, Jason, and Tim. Jason told me and Tim to come by. We'll record a podcast one day. We went to his apartment at the time when you were in Astoria, right?
Astoria, yeah. That's when I was in Astoria.
And we talked about Iron Man 3. Yep. And we had a great time with that. And we did Suicide Squad. And
yes.
Awesome.
And we also did another one we've done on the show, which was our second episode, Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice.
And we actually got together and watched it together.
We did.
And then recorded it right after.
Yes, we did.
So it's all fresh.
It was all, no, there was no notes. It was just like, hey, right there, you know, either you were pissed or you weren't, and that's it. And then it kind of like had faded for a bit. And then once Tim had reached out to me, you know, during everything being shut down about Empire 161, once we got the Yankee show going, then I started thinking about it. And I started seeing on PCP, like, man, these guys are big comic book fans too, but nobody's talking about these movies. Like, what is going on here?
Yep.
And then, I know. Then I had seen like they did the draft, and Jada and Kyle did the draft and stuff like that. So I'm like, so there's something here. And then I had reached out for Archie. I just texted him one day. I was like, dude, what about a comic book show? What if we did one like weekly talking about TV shows and movies, like a different spin?
Immediately said yes.
Oh, he was like, listen, let's go, whatever. Let's do this. Let's go.
Can you start that last week, please?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you waiting for? Like, what the hell? So then I immediately texted Jason, and at the time I reached out to Tony because me and Tony were working together at the time. And it was just like, we got it kicked off right away. And it was a lot of fun. And we've played with the format a little bit since the first episode. The first episode, we went on forever.
4-hour episode where we talked about everything.
Was that the Marvel one?
No, that was the one where we were first started talking about like news items.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then we turned into shows. And it was WandaVision. WandaVision just started, and Wonder Woman 84 just dropped. And it just went on forever. And like right afterwards, it was like, all right, listen, post-show wrap, no more stories. We're definitely cutting that part out immediately.
And I forget, because I blocked this out for trauma reasons, that Wonder Woman 84 was our first show.
Yes.
Because that movie was terrible.
But we had WandaVision.
We did
have 2 episodes of WandaVision.
And I remember I remember listening to back-to-back episodes, Jada and Kyle, and then you guys talking about Wonder Woman 84, and I think Timmy made it onto both of them.
Yep.
We all remember. Yeah, Timmy, I mean, to this day.
Oh yeah,
Wonder Woman 84. No bueno. Well, we won't get into that, but into the whole Wonder Woman 84 and the deep dive into DC hell that who's in, who's out, who's in, who's out.
Yeah.
But I do want to say just a few things about Quantumania before I gotta get out of here. I am having so many issues with what the critics are saying, and if you go into just Rotten Tomatoes and you read their 1 or 2 liner, that's kind of where the representation of their review is just like it blows my mind. Here's I'm going to read just a few of them. Mm-hmm. The lackluster writing and typical Marvel cliches don't allow Rudd's effortless charm to carry the character. What part? And I won't get too deep into what you guys are talking about, but what part of the Ant-Man character lacked or couldn't move forward because or lacked charm because the movie wouldn't move forward and bad writing?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get that.
Talent can't hide the fact that the movie gets less and less interesting as it progresses.
No, it was not my experience.
Nope.
That's just inaccurate. And at this point, we've seen different movies, right?
Yeah, no.
Actually, what movie we're
texting about it, I was just like blown away by it. Like, did I see something? I'm glad I saw it more than once because I still saw the same movie that I saw the first time, not the movie they saw.
Not at all. And I read because they won't give away too much in these like 1 or 2 liners. So I kind of looked through these beforehand. I'm like, really? I couldn't, like, my mind was kind of blown with some of the things. The film is silly and messy, kind of pretty and trippy. And although it fulfills the obligations of laser fights, digital everything, it's not going to reshape the marketplace. This is the other part of this that I cannot stand. Who's attempting to reshape the marketplace? Why are we, not us, why are we as in like kind of totality here, comparing this to Infinity War, Endgame, Civil War? What are you doing?
Because that's what we do. Like that's
exactly
what they do now.
I tie this back a little bit to GOAT discussions. You can't go there. It's so difficult. You can do it if you try, but it's so difficult to say, okay, well, this movie in this phase doesn't hold up to the finales of or the massive storytelling finales of the Thanos stuff and Iron Man stuff. You can't do it. You can't. And this is not a movie. This is not an Avengers film, so it's not going to have the excitement. And then for those that said it was a little goofy, what Marvel movie have you seen that does not have cheesy goofiness involved? Darren, hello. Like, people are like, oh, it's over the top and it's not. Yeah, it was funny to me. I enjoyed that kind of stuff. But to me, if you're complaining about, being cheesy and stuff, you've never seen a Marvel film. You've never seen it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Again, I'll get into detail later, but I think the perfect way to describe what is happening at this point with the MCU is they're a victim of their own success. Kind of like summing up pretty much what you're saying, because like everything is not going to be Avengers Infinity War or Avengers Endgame, because it took 20-something movies to build up to that. So if your expectation is every single movie after that has to equal that, that's insanity.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's insanity. Not every Star Wars movie after Empire Strikes Back was Empire Strikes Back. So does that mean they all suck?
No Star Wars movie after Empire Strikes Back was Empire Strikes Back. I'm just putting that out there. None of them.
Exactly. In the literal sense and every other. No, but it just seems like, to me, that's just a short version of it. And that's what I think is happening with critics now. And I'll get into my own critiques with it because I can kind of see some of the things that they were saying. But like I read before, joyless? Mm-hmm. It's joyless? It's
ridiculous.
No. Like
heartless? I saw one.
Really?
Like one critic. I wish I had it. I'll find it. We need to expose these people. One critic said that it was heartless and it was hard to care about the characters. What? I don't get any of that. If you watched this movie and you didn't care about what was going on with the core characters, mm-hmm. then maybe you're heartless. But the characters were not. Plain and simple, they were not.
Yeah, and I guess now again, the short version being that if you're going into this movie and judging it as a one-off, which is very hard to do, then I can kind of see where if you have no prior history of Scott and Cassie or anything else that's going on, that isn't covered that much. It's only briefly alluded to. I can see where you might critique that. But we're all well aware this is the third film in the Ant-Man franchise, so there is pre-existing story. And this is the over 20, almost 30th film in the MCU. So there's that. You know what's going on by now.
It's not the right spot to be jumping in.
Yeah. No, it's true. And it kind of, that kind of sucks in a way, I guess. But guess what? You got to go and do your homework because they're treating this like it is comic books at this point. They're live action comic books.
Exactly.
You can't jump into any comic book at any given point and expect to know everything that's going on.
Which is what we all dreamed of when we were kids.
Yes. Yes.
For sure.
Take all these. Put them
Yes.
up on the screen and let's do this.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. And that's the thing. And I kind of feel like a lot of the Phase 4 movies were getting banged for those kind of things too. Like, Love and Thunder was now divisive. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness it's divisive for the MCU because usually it's like throw an MCU movie out and it's 90%. Everyone is just fawning over it. But they're trying different things now, and critics are having trouble adapting their critiques to what it is they're trying to do. I just think they're not getting a lot of it.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
It's complicated. It is a little complicated right now.
It's a complicated relationship. Yeah.
It is. It is complicated.
What's your status? It's complicated.
It's complicated. But hey, listen. As long as I'm sure as Disney and Marvel, as long as the money keeps coming in and the audience rating is where it is,
churning money.
Exactly. Give two shits about the 47%.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares? Yeah. Well, if you guys like it, great. If you don't,
that all saw the movie for free.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
To be honest, this is not something I would ever trust a critic on. Like, look, there are movies that I want to know the critics' thoughts on. Sure. This is not one of them. This is a movie. It's a comic book movie. it's not high art. That's it. I mean, if you're going in thinking this is high art, you've already shot yourself in the foot in the enjoyment wise. This is a comic book movie. Go and engage on it for what it is. And look, this isn't a perfect movie. I've got a couple of things I'm going to talk about when we get to it, but like to hammer it for being joyless and you don't care about the characters, that's just unfair.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's frustrating, but like I usually like to peek at the Rotten Tomatoes score before, like, and I try not to read any details. But this time I couldn't help it because I saw the score was low, and I'm like,
what the hell's wrong with these people?
What is going on here? Like, what is this? I'm still not used to this. This is an MCU movie. This isn't supposed to be happening. But then I'm reading some of these critiques, and I don't like to go into movies with these ideas in the back of your head. But I went into it. I'm like, no, I'm laughing.
Yeah, right.
I'm laughing. Where's the joylessness? Where's the characters I don't care about? I don't know. I didn't get it. And again, I agree with Jason. It's not a perfect movie,
right?
But to hammer it is that's a bit unfair.
Yeah, I think they're way off base on this. Way off base.
So, Farachi, before you do head out, though, so what is your overall, so I'm assuming you gave it a 2 thumbs up, or, did you really like it? Where would you place it, maybe? What's here?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't find any joylessness. I was laughing. I cared about what was going on. I know. Thanks, Jader. I cared about what was going on. Like, if you went into this and you didn't care about what was happening at the end of the movie, towards the middle of the movie, I'll let you guys get into the spoilerific stuff. But then you really have no investment in this. This is like, I gotta go to take my girl who loves this, or I gotta go with my boyfriend and get dragged to this. That's all that this is. I would definitely see it again. Ant-Man, and I'm not alone in this. Is when the idea of Ant-Man first coming to the big screen, it was like, okay, all right, well, let's see what they can do. And then Paul Rudd charmed the shit out of us, and here we are. I loved. My kid loved it, which is only boosts what I feel about it always, because if my 11-year-old isn't enjoying it, then maybe I'm enjoying it a little bit too much.
That's fair. Fair.
But I'm gonna head out now. I appreciate you during this. Oh, look at this! Sending stars. Send stars.
Send
Jader.
all the stars.
Send all the stars.
On our 100th episode, shower us with stars. Praise be to Kal-El.
1 million stars.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you guys having me on again. 100th episode. Love it. I can't outdo what I said earlier. And screw you critics, man. I'm not going to do like others do, like other guests when they go on shows. They end the broadcast and screw things up, Don.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Shots fired.
But both of them did that. All right, fellas. I appreciate you.
All right.
Take it easy, Farachi. Thank you,
everybody.
All right. So we got some quick thoughts from the boss man on Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. We'll get into further detail, in a little bit. But we've got an episode to do now. Now we've got to jump in, and we've got our episode.
We got some business to do now.
Yeah,
we had our fun.
Yeah, we've had our fun, but we got some business to handle, and we will have some special guests as the show goes on. Jader, who was mentioned, will be joining us for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Maybe Rick, if he recovered his voice, because he was losing his voice earlier today when we chatted. So
I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know the story.
I don't know. He went to see Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and he has no voice now. So I mean, draw whatever conclusions.
You also went to see Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, did you not?
No, I did not, because Tim did not want to go with me Sunday. So I got one shot left tomorrow night. There's a chance I might make it happen.
All right, I hope you do. I hope you make this happen.
I want to make it happen. I want to support the movie, man. I got to be honest. I actually do. That's balls, man. What they did. It is.
It's not going to be good, but it needs to be rewarded for its gumption.
Yes, I'm not saying again. It's not going to be, a Nightmare on Elm Street or something like that. But it's it will be a movie. I'm sure.
It might be Nightmare on Elm Street: The Final Nightmare, right? It might be that.
It could be that. It might very well be that. I mean, you don't really know what you get into.
It's true.
So, All right, so let's talk about the Super Bowl trailers that dropped just briefly because I know it's been a little bit now, but we didn't get a chance to talk about it last week. Just overall, it was The Flash dropped its first full trailer. We had Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 that dropped their new trailer. We got a trailer for Transformers Rise of the Beasts, a movie I am excited for, but the trailer, just quickly, the trailer didn't really show anything new, so it's like whatever. I mean,
the Transformers one, so that's good because I forgot to watch that one. So
it was honestly virtually nothing new that
okay.
was in there. So I honestly think that was a waste of money by the studio because you didn't give us anything new. But I'm guessing this one we're gonna probably focus on here, and that would be The Flash, the DCEU film that is it's one of the final ones that's supposed to pretty much reset the universe and set the stage for the upcoming DCU, from James Gunn and Peter Safran. So, Jason, you finally had a chance to watch this thing.
I did.
Now, again, what did you think of the trailer at first? Like, did the trailer raise your excitement for the film? Did it dampen it? Did it not matter?
On. That's a stupid question. I got Michael Keaton as Batman. Of course, it made me want to see it more. This could have been 30. This could have been 10 seconds of Michael Keaton Batman, and the rest like terrible pornography. And I've been like, I'm in. I don't know what's going on in this Flash movie, but Michael Keaton's there. Yeah, I'm excited to see it. Look. Getting to see Michael Keaton back in action, I'm Batman. That was fantastic. Getting to see Batfleck also being there, knowing that they're both going to be there. I mean, I knew this, but actually seeing them together was awesome. Yeah. Not together, but you know what I mean? The same trailer. I didn't realize we were going to get 2 Barry Allens, which I think is really interesting.
Okay.
I think I'm kind of excited to see where that goes, even though I hate Ezra Miller. And yeah, I mean, and it's obvious like they're doing Flashpoint Paradox, which I'm very excited about because that is an awesome run and an awesome animated movie, DC animated movie. So yeah, I mean, the only reason I'm not crazy about this movie is because of the Ezra Miller troubles. And but putting all that aside, this looks awesome.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go on record as saying this. This might be one of the best superhero movie trailers I've ever seen.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm just saying that right now. Like, I was excited for this movie beforehand once I knew, because they didn't show us anything we didn't know we were getting. But seeing it play out, seeing Michael Keaton actually back as Batman, him saying he said the thing, like
he did.
I was there. I'm telling you right there. It was like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I was there, like drinking the coffee. And I was like, oh, look. He said the thing. Look at this. Dude, it was phenomenal. I'm Batfleck. I profess my love for Batfleck for probably 90 of the 100 episodes that we've done now.
I think so.
So anytime I get a chance to speak praises of Batfleck, and I did say I had a renewed appreciation for Michael Keaton's Batman upon our rewatch. As a kid, I loved him, of course, but it was a renewed appreciation. And Supergirl, we got to see
that looks awesome.
Sasha Calle's Supergirl in this.
Yeah.
That looks awesome. The 2 Barry Allens, again, I knew everything that we got, and they confirmed the Zod rumor. So we got Michael Shannon back as Zod.
Yep, that was awesome. And I love that line, which really makes me excited. Like, yeah, it kind of reset things so there were no metahumans and fuck. He doesn't say fuck, but it's like, no,
basically,
fuck. This was wrong. Like, we're now enslaved. And I know it's a super cool idea.
It is. It's a really cool idea. And James Gunn, I mean, you could say what you want about it, but he's even he's going on record as saying this is one of the greatest superhero movies he's ever seen. Now, he's one of the co-heads of DC Studios. On one hand, you could say, all right, he's propping that up, but he also had nothing to do with the making of this movie.
No.
And he's resetting the universe. So,
and James Gunn, we're talking about the guy who has gone on record as saying, yeah, they ran the studio like shit, like openly. He said stuff like that. So, love him or hate him, like what he's doing, don't like what he's doing. He's not a shill.
No, I don't get
if he likes something, he likes it. If he doesn't, he doesn't.
Yeah. And we know all about being shills.
No, we were DC shills, we were Marvel shills. Are we Image comic shills yet? Have we gotten to that depths?
No, not yet. I mean, hopefully sooner or later we will, but we haven't achieved that just yet. Dark Horse maybe
Dark
or something
Horse.
like that. But yeah, dude, this for now rating a trailer. This has gotten my excitement for this movie like through the roof. And yes, I have parked the Ezra Miller stuff to the side because I'm just trying to say I'm looking at the screen at Barry Allen, not Ezra Miller.
Right.
So it's just everything looks great. Everything looks fantastic. I can't wait to see this. I'm hoping this isn't cutting the great trailer and shitting the movie, but I don't know. This seems to be so much hype. And I just saw before I signed on that they're filming this. They're showing this at, I believe it's Cannes Film Festival or something.
Oh,
like that.
wow. Okay.
They're not hiding this thing. So that kind of tells you that they're bringing it.
That's good.
Like they're willing to show this to anybody way ahead of time.
And I'll give it this. If this is the movie that I think it's going to be, if it's as good as it looks like it's going to be, kudos for it being the first Flash movie. Because I think you pointed out to me, like, there's never been a Flash movie proper.
No, ever. So this would be crushing it. And, to use it for what it's for, I mean, Flashpoint does make sense with that. And a lot of versions of DC have used a Flashpoint situation to reset their universe. And this happens to line up with it. So, I mean, I think it's a phenomenal idea. So I can't wait to see it. I'm beyond jacked. I mean, I can't. In opening night, I'm sure me and you will be there in Batman shirts and stuff like that.
Oh, I'm wearing. I'm wearing Batman regalia because yes, this is a Flash movie, but really, it's Batman '89, the sequel.
Yes, it's Batman '89 Returns. Again.
And look, Keaton looks amazing. Keaton looks awesome. Let's just talk. Can I just talk for an hour about how awesome Keaton is? And when he says, "I'm Batman," like, come on.
It's the smirk that does it for me. It's like
is the smirk.
Yeah, I'm Batman. Because he's basically breaking the fourth wall with that, essentially.
Yes.
Like you know what that was.
Yes, and you know that he does that in his real life. Like he's confirmed that. Like
he told Tom Holland as much during Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Exactly. And you know what? If I were Michael Keaton and I got to play Batman, I would never, ever, ever let anyone forget it.
No, and now he's really not letting them forget it. But yeah, and again, whatever happens with Batfleck, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. So I think I'm always excited to see him because now this might be the best script he gets to go with.
It's true. You know what I would actually love? This is my dream scenario because we know the Batman that Gunn is going with. My dream scenario is they finally give Ben Affleck the ability to do the Batfleck movie he wanted, and it just be an Elseworlds like Robin Pattinson. It's like, because you can do that now, right? Just give this man some money. Let us have this Batman. Bring back
Deathstroke,
Jeremy Irons. Bring back Deathstroke. Let him do his thing. And just call it an Elseworlds. And we can pretend it's not a DCEU thing. We can pretend it's not a Snyderverse thing. Or we can embrace it Snyderverse. I don't give a shit. I just want that movie.
Yeah, there's been so much talk about that script and everything, and people and Jim Lee even like fawning over how great that thing is. It's just like,
right. So give us that Elseworlds project with Ben Affleck at the helm, because I don't think we're going to get him after this in the DCU proper. I don't even think we should, based on the Batman they want to go with. I don't think we've talked about this. I don't think the image of what his Batman was jives with what the Batman they want to go with, which is fine. But give this man his movie. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. And the other thing, I mean, the other trailer with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, there was some new stuff in there, but the big consensus is it's like Angie is really concerned that Rocket is going to die in this movie.
Yeah, you told me that. We were talking about that the other night.
She's really worried about this. Like, she's genuinely concerned. Like, she even told me she was tearing up during the trailer.
Wow.
Yes, that's where we're at with this. Is it that far-fetched? I mean, Jason, are you concerned that maybe all the Guardians going to die at the end of this movie?
I don't think they're all going to die. Is it out of the realm of possibility? No, I don't think so. But I don't know. I don't think they're going to burn the Guardians, to be honest. Like, we're never going to get this Guardians again. But Rocket Raccoon is a character that would I don't know, it'd be foolish to kill because it's just literally you just got to get someone's voice in there. Like if we're talking like production wise,
Yeah.
you want Rocket in your movie, you need a CGI budget, which you have because you're Marvel, and you just need to call this guy, I forget his name, Bradley Cooper, in to like lay down some tracks in his bathrobe in his house, and it's like I don't think that's the character they're gonna burn. I think if we're gonna lose anyone, we're gonna lose Gamora, like for real.
Again.
And I think we might lose Quill.
Okay.
I think it might be a like going down together thing, but I don't think we're going to lose all the Guardians. And honestly, Rocket and Groot are the two ones that I think we'll lose the least because again, it's just a matter of we want to put them in something, CGI that shit, call these people to make some some lines, but I mean anything's possible. I mean they really are focusing him on Rocket a lot. And his past, and it's the High Evolutionary, right? That's the High Evolutionary.
That's what we're getting.
And so, like, this kind of seems like it might be a Rocket story based just on that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm gathering too. I think it's gonna be Rocket focused. I don't think Rocket dies. I think Drax might die.
He might. Yep.
Yeah, I think Drax might be my pick of people to die in this movie.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But I don't know. We'll see. But as far as it goes as the trailer itself, yeah, I guess you could say it got me more excited to see Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm already excited. I mean, that's the one who I'm like, I would be stunned if we got some divisive Rotten Tomatoes score. I don't think we're getting it. I think James Gunn is going to want to leave the MCU off on an extremely high note. So I think he's going to crush it. Honestly,
yeah. Also, I mean, the Guardians movies, I think, like, are the most consistent. Like, I don't think Guardians of the Galaxy 1 is better or worse than 2. I think they're both phenomenal movies that bring different things to the lore. And I think that's what we're going to get here.
I'm very curious to revisit Volume 2 again because in our rewatch, we'll be covering both of those leading up to Volume 3. That. No, me too. I've liked 1 more than 2 for a while now, but we'll see. I mean, it could hit differently when we get to that.
I mean, you know me well enough to know the 2 reasons why. Yeah, I mean, ego, because again, if you told 14, 13, 12-year-old me, oh, we're going to have Ego in a movie, I'm like, get the fuck out of here, the living. No one knows who Ego is, the living planet. Get the fuck out of here. That's the first thing. Second thing, it's like, it's what's this? It's Jack, Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
I was going to say Jack Wade because that's his, Big Trouble in Little China. But yeah, Kurt Russell, who is awesome, who brings such pathos to that, like, one-dimensional villain. So I have such a soft spot for that movie.
Yeah. I'm just curious to see how it hits the next, because I purposely will not watch it for a while.
Nice.
Even though it's on TV all the time, just so I can kind of be very refreshed. So, all right. So that's it for the Super Bowl trailers, and let's get to our shows then. We got The Flash Season 9, Episode 2. That we got this past week. I know Episode 3 is on, like, actually it's probably over by now. They're in our real time. I think the episode was a step down, honestly. I think they came out swinging in the season premiere of their final season, and I didn't care for this episode that much. I thought it was kind of dull. I thought we go over the, I mean, just to give you a quick synopsis, the main storyline is Mark, again, trying to, bring Frost back to life again. And the team is dealing with it, but then they find out they lost Caitlin as well. And I was kind of shocked that they seemed not that bothered that Caitlin Snow is dead right now. Or not coming back. They kind of didn't seem like they were too bothered by this, and especially an OG Team Flash member.
Considering most of them voted to bring back Killer Frost. I mean,
what? Like, what the hell was I watching?
Yeah. You know what? This was not good, but this was a hell of a lot better than previous season's episodes, so I give it some fair. Of that. I'll talk about I will be uncharacteristically kind and talk about the things I think worked in this episode. I liked that we got the Fiddler.
Okay.
Could we have done more Fiddler? Yes. Is it becoming clear to me that they're kind of creating their own ISA, right, Injustice Society, right? Because now we have Captain Boomerang and the Fiddler, so they're kind of putting together a team. I think that's kind of cool. Not that we get to see them do much in these episodes because the Fiddler's in it for like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
I do like that they brought Hartley back. I actually forgot who that guy was until I had a little memory jog, but it was nice to see him again because he was like, this is a deep cut back third season. Like,
it's very,
he had a pretty big role on this, so I kind of thought it was cool they brought him back. And Joe was on the dance floor, guys. Joe was like, I don't dance, and then they were like, come on, Joe, and Joe danced. Like, that was good, right?
Yeah, Joe West on the dance floor was good. I don't particularly love the episodes that sort of end with the team doing karaoke or dancing or something like that. Like,
it's
whatever. It was fun to see Grant Gustin get to go ahead and throw some wacky moves out there, and Iris is like, yo, you can't dance. Stop.
That
and
was
he's
fun.
like, no, I can. Whatever. He's a super talented dude. I know he was like on Glee and he can sing and dance and all of that stuff, like whatever. But the Fiddler stuff, I don't know. Like it's weird that she's in this. We get another version of the Fiddler. And Red Death, you're right. Red Death is obviously putting together her I'm gonna now say her own super team because this is Batwoman.
Yes.
It is an alternate.
And you could hear her. Like,
yeah.
Even if I didn't know this was coming, I would have recognized her voice because of the many episodes you forced me to watch of that show. Yes. And they actually brought in at the end her theme, the Batwoman theme too, which, God, I can't believe I recognized that. Something I never would have without this show.
We were pro Batwoman in season 3. We actually were.
We were, and I liked season 3, and I thought season 3. I'm actually pissed it didn't continue, but I watched way more of that show than I should have. Is all I'm saying. I should have only watched season 3. Is what I'm saying.
I wish I did too. I totally wish I did too.
But I thought it was cool that they brought in those musical motifs, and I could recognize her voice. Like it's very clear where they're going. But yeah, I agree with you. This episode is like, who cares? Like outside of the things I mentioned, who cares?
Yeah, and I was the most disturbing thing though was like the lack of empathy, or remorse of losing Caitlin Snow. That really bothered me.
Yeah,
it genuinely did, and we got Keon now, who's a third Snow person property or something like that. I mean, listen, Danielle Panabaker is great in whatever she's doing. She plays the character great.
It's not
a likable character. Yeah, it's a likable character, but like, did we need to temporarily off Caitlin Snow because we know she's coming back?
Well, she has to come back. Unless they pull an Angel where they permanently, in the last season they kill one of their characters by having them be replaced with someone else in their body, and they don't reverse that shit. That's just how it is till the end.
Who's the actor that plays Angel? David
Boreanaz.
Boreanaz. He was at the Ranger game Monday night when me and Angie were there, by the way. Just randomly. She was like, is that Angel?
Did you see ATV's Angel, David Boreanaz, in real life?
He put him up on the scoreboard. Dude, it's crazy when you just referenced Angel right there, and I was like, damn, there it is.
I'm so jealous. I love that, man.
Well, I remember I also had a Ranger game in the playoffs last year when Tyler Hodgkin.
That's right.
Hodgkin was there, and I got a still of him being on the board. Like, he was pounding a beer and screaming at the top of his lungs. It was great.
I would meet more celebrities at their worst if I followed sports, Ed. This is what this is telling me.
That's what it was. Now, Jason, I'm going to take you to a Ranger game at Madison Square Garden, and no one will show up. I'll promise you all these things. No one's going to do it. It'll just be regular hockey fans. That's all.
Oh, great. Hockey fans and alcohol. God. I could have had this at home.
Exactly. What do you do? Ryan Reynolds was at a game recently and everything. It's pretty much, it's all our stuff. So, but whatever. Back to the Flash episode. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of weak. I mean,
yeah.
You got 10 episodes. You can't be throwing out weak ones.
Can you guess the part of the plot that I didn't care about at all? The one that I care, like if you can assign negative points to how much I cared?
I bet you it's the same one as me.
Yeah, it is. I know it is.
Why are they pushing this romance on us now?
I don't know. And why are they acting like they're teenagers? Like if you're adults and you made out, you hooked up, and then you got to do some shit at work because you're adults who work together. It's like, it's not going to be, hey, about last night. No, we can't talk about it until everything is done. It's like, you're fucking adults. About last night, yeah, we hooked up. Look, let's put that shit in the back burner while we do this. But that wasn't it. It was I felt like I was watching a teen drama. Why are these characters here? Yeah, exactly.
CW show.
Exactly, on the CW show.
Bastards. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, anything that involves Allegra just pisses me off. Angie hears me yelling at the screen whenever she's on it. She's voting. She has a vote to bring back Frost. And she's trying to act like emotional about it. Who the fuck are you, and what are you doing here still?
I'm sorry, Chester and Allegra should have no vote about who to bring back. They should call in. They should call, the what's his face from the first couple. See, Cisco. Cisco should have a fucking vote. Wells should have a fucking vote. Everyone who is, here on the ground floor should have a vote. Allegra, Chester, get the fuck out of here. Go hook up like you're in high school, you pieces of shit.
Go send each other notes. Like,
you're right,
do you like me or not?
Right.
Oh, God. All right. Hopefully tonight's episode 3 is better because, again, we're winding down the final season of The Flash. I was hopeful off the bat, but I saw in the previews, though, for tonight's episode, your boy is back. Damn it. Gold, the guy with the gold.
Oh, I totally forget his name, but yes.
He's back tonight.
I love that because he loves Shakespeare.
Yes.
He's a literary man who has a thing for gold.
The name will come back to me like in the middle of the next segment, and I'll just
it's
blurt
gold
it out.
Something. I mean, that's it. Your brain will spend the next 20 minutes just going gold brick, gold layer, just putting whatever gold, and eventually it'll click, and you'll just go, I got it.
Gold member, gold finger, what? All right, so let's keep it rolling along. We got The Last of Us.
We do.
Episode 6. Let's throw up that spoiler warning because this is only a couple of days old now, so you have been warned. We will be talking openly about spoilers of Sunday night's episode of Last of Us. So, Jason, overall thoughts with this and stuff like that? Like,
I mean,
you played the game?
I did play the game, and now we've gotten to a part of the game which I do remember, which is the university. I remember having to go through the university and being fucking terrified about those bonobo monkeys darting around in the university. Because you know what? When you're watching this, it's different than when you're playing and expecting clickers to show up. All right, just saying that. But yeah, this show is great. I think this episode knocked it out of the park with the duo pushes on. We actually meet Joel's brother. He comes in thinking he's going to save him. Doesn't need his saving. He's got himself set up. He's not with the Fireflies anymore. He's got a woman or a wife. That's terrible to say. He's got a wife. They're having a baby. So he's starting a family. Joel tries to get his brother to take Ellie because he's so, and you're seeing it at this point. I love it. He's so terrified of losing her at this point. He already cares about it. He already sees his daughter in her. And he's so terrified of losing her that he tries to get rid of her. And she won't have it, right? They have this moment where his brother brings her to him as they're about to leave, and he's stealing a horse. And he's like, "Yeah, I guess you should have a choice." And before the word "choice" comes out of her mouth, she's putting her stuff with him, and she's like, "Joel, it's you," because she's also connecting with him as like a father figure. Damn, this was a great episode. And now imagine me in front of a dam, because that was the best line of the episode for me. She went, "Damn," in front of the dam.
I felt that this episode really drove that home, the whole connection and character development between Joel and Ellie, and their bond. And I remember when we first started talking about this show, you had mentioned that's pretty much the genesis of this story, and you could really see it here. And Joel, feeling like fear was getting to him. He's been scared at times. His reflexes, maybe not as much. The lack of hearing. In the previous episode, or 2 episodes ago, actually, by now, he just feels like he can't protect Ellie. And you're right, like he doesn't want to lose her so badly. He's willing to give her to the younger brother who can just better protect her. And Ellie's not seeing it like that. She thinks someone else is abandoning her again and everything else, and she's mad at him, but doesn't really see the big picture of Joel's thing. But then she gives him the ultimate boost of confidence when she chooses him. you're still the guy. I trust you to protect me. Because there is even a moment where she feels like that Joel is gone, and or like dead, like he's not coming back. She's like, oh no. She says something like, "If you're gone, I'm fucked." Like,
yeah,
done.
right at the end there, yeah. When he's bleeding out because he gets stabbed.
Yep.
And she's like, "No, if you go, I can't do this. I don't know where to go. I can't do this without you."
Yeah, and it was really, really powerful. I mean, I can't just help going back to it every week. Like, this is based on a video game,
right?
Like, this is nuts.
And a lot of these scenes are verbatim. Like that scene, and I'm sure you know this because I saw this from the end. I watched the the posts and stuff. But that scene where they're having that interaction where like he's trying to get rid of her and she doesn't want him to go, and it's like that's from the video game verbatim.
And I'm just amazed. I'm truly amazed and blown away. After every episode, I'm like, wow, that was fucking great. And I'm like, this is based on a video game. This is already the greatest video game adaptation to any screen ever. Like,
agreed.
By far.
Agreed.
Far. It's astonishing.
What else could even hold a candle to this? Like,
only Van Damme Street Fighter. I tried to keep the straight face, but it was just like it got me.
I appreciate that.
I tried, but only Rick can pull that one off.
It's because Rick believes it.
That's the thing; he really sells in on it.
But I love that whole idea of, she tells him that you make me feel safe. Being around him makes her feel safe, and it makes him feel unsafe because he's so afraid of losing her. And then when they have that moment of that back and forth of like, now I lost my train of thought, but pretty much that back and forth where she doesn't want him to leave her, and he kind of has, feels he has to. And I don't know, I meant to take notes because usually when I drive these shows, it's like I hit all the plot points, and I took notes, but it's like the plot points don't matter. It's all about their relationship and this whole like building and understanding that he needs to be there for her, and I think he realizes that. And then I don't know. I mean, I know he's not going to die. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't played the video game. Joel is not going to die. He makes it to the end of the game. He'll make it to the end of the show. But when he protects her from the raiders, which I love that they try to do the stealthy escape and it just goes wrong.
Yeah.
And then he gets stabbed, and like when she, as you said, when she gets him off the horse and he's bleeding and he's passing out and she's panicking. It's like, I don't know. There's just something so beautiful of the emotion this is bringing. I don't even care about, and I don't think there's any clickers in this episode. Are there?
No, there are none.
There are no clickers in this episode, and it is possibly one of the best episodes we've gotten from them. I think that says everything you need to know.
It really focuses on the connection, with the characters like Joel and his brother, and Ellie, and his brother's wife. That's brought into this, as well. And it does dip into their past. Also, like Joel and his brother, they have this conversation about things that they've done, and it starts really hitting home. You start finding out a bit more about what what they did, because it's been pretty vague up until now. Not saying that they really still deep dive too much into it, but you got more than you got before.
No, but they say outright, like in that, and again, beautiful conversations between Joel and his brother, like, do you resent me because I killed people? And his brother's like, we killed people, and like and Joel also has that. Joel feels, and you see that in this episode, he's holding tremendous guilt from everything that has happened from his daughter's death before the infection on. Right? He watched his daughter die. He had to do some terrible shit to survive. And you really see that weighing on him. I think that's part of why he wants to get rid of Ellie, because he doesn't feel that he's worthy enough to do this. He couldn't do this before. He can't do it now. He's not worthy enough. And in his head, like he says to his brother, I killed people. And his brother has to tell him, no, we killed people. Because Joel takes all that on himself.
And I quote Barry Allen, actually, from the episode that we just spoke about, that, they did bad things for the right reason.
Yes.
If you want to, look at it that way.
So, right. I mean, and here's the thing. It's survival. Like all of all of our modern day morality goes out the window as soon as we were in a post-apocalyptic world where people who maybe we could have talked to yesterday are trying to slit our throats for sugar tomorrow. Like all of that goes out the window. And I think, but these are not like, and I think that's a point too, is like Ellie is someone who doesn't remember pre-pandemic, pre-life. Like, and she asks him like about there's that great bit about the contractor. What did you do before?
Yes.
I was a contractor. I bet everyone loved the contractor. Everyone loved the
contractor.
Right? Which is like, in modern day society, that's a job. It's a good job. They do well. We don't lord them up, but she doesn't know that, and he does. And I think the fact that they play on that, the fact that like he has to bring in his post, pandemic guilt and sort of values, and she doesn't because she doesn't have it. And I think that's super interesting too, playing with that about like, well, what is right, what is wrong, what do you do to survive? Like, should you feel guilty? Because she's killed people at this point. And she doesn't feel guilty about it because she knows there was no other way.
Yeah.
But he still does. And I think that's super interesting to play with.
Agreed. All right. Flowing along now. So
all right.
Let's get to our movie of the week. We got the latest entry into the MCU, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which we touched on a little bit in our opening with Steve Faraci. But we do have another member of the PCP family who's joining us. You've seen him on a lot of other places actually, but you've also seen him on Granny's Peach Tea. He's been with us for some of our best episodes. We talked about this. Some of our best.
He's been here for Justice League, right?
Yes.
That 12-hour Justice League extravaganza.
Yes.
What was it? Was another
Batman.
The Batman.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Batman, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, we actually have two coming in, but we're going to be bringing in Jader. Jader, what's up, dude?
Man?
Long time.
It's been a while. And let me tell you, it's been a while me even doing this. Like, I haven't been online in I don't know how long. I actually moved out of Florida. A lot of people don't know that. I'm in Texas now.
I had no idea.
Yeah, no, it was very secretive. I didn't do it. I posted it on, I think, IG, and whoever asked and got the answer. Other than that, like, so yeah, I'm in Texas. I'm a Texas boy now. So it's actually 8:30 here. So when you would tell me, I was freaking out because I was like, but it's only an hour time difference. Funny enough, while you guys were talking Flash, I finished Last of Us.
Oh wow! Okay.
That's why. Yeah. So I wrote a couple notes, very very quick.
Yeah, but please share them.
Honestly, just it kind of threw me off. I played this game. I've told you guys multiple times. I'm obsessed. I think it's one of the best video games ever made. Just story alone. So, and it's the perfect game to adapt to a series. This wouldn't have worked ever as a movie. This is the way I feel like some video games need to be adapted. Video games usually take hours to finish, and we have studios trying to knock them out in 2 hours. Like, there's no way. There's so much that's going to be missing. So I've loved every single episode of The Last of Us, which was crazy because I'm obviously going to go back to episode 1 very quick. It was almost frame by frame, word for word to the game, right? And then you get episode 2 kind of going around the same, but they changed the little things here and there. Then episode 3 obviously pissed off half of the world for some reason, which is one of the greatest for me. One of the greatest episodes they've done, to be completely.
It was fantastic.
It was fantastic, heartbreaking, and I replayed the game multiple times, and I never put 2 and 2 because there is a Frank in the game very briefly, but obviously I personally assumed it was a brother or friend, never thought a lover, and it was just it made it that much heartbreaking for me, and so on and so forth. But they started Winter off a little different from the game, so they've been changing things where basically how this episode ends with Joe going down is what Winter happens after.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're kind of doing it like that now. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So Winter came before the events of this episode here. So I thought that was cool. The scene where the dogs and everybody surrounding them right beforehand, I thought that was so intense. Mm-hmm. My butthole puckered up so much, even though I kind of know where this story goes, but even then, it was very, very tense. What did I write down? Tommy and Joel finally reuniting. You can tell there was a little bit of tense there, but also you see like, hey, we're brothers. Whatever we did in the past, whatever beef of sorts that we have right now, just put that aside. So it was very good seeing them. I love Pedro and Bella Ramsey together. They had so many emotional scenes in this. The fact that he doesn't want to lose another dog when he sees the girl, and he's like just being constant reminding of what happened to him early on. Him pleading that he doesn't think he can go through with it, and then being like, hey, no, I'm the guy that has to do this. Overall, you guys kind of nailed it earlier. Loved it. But it ends, and I'm like, oh shit. Like, again, it's keeping even video game players on our toes.
Okay.
Right? Because it's still keeping us second guessing and things like that. And then I usually don't watch next week's scenes. Like, I just turn it off right where it ends, because I'm like, I'm good. I don't need it. I'm gonna watch anyways.
Yeah.
I had to see where they were going, because I was like, bro, I have to see what happened. And they're kind of doing the DLC from the games.
Oh, cool.
So they're not going linear right now. They're actually going to the DLC that they released. And if people get pissed off with episode 3, they're gonna probably be pissed off next episode as well. But yeah, my overall thoughts, again, there has not been one single bad episode on this. They bat either 9 or 10s for me. Like, every single episode on this has been almost perfect for me. But yeah, sorry, that's why I popped in right at the end.
I wasn't sure, because when we talked earlier, I was under the impression you didn't watch it. So.
No, I didn't, but I had some time. I took my 30-minute break at work, watched 30 minutes of it, and then now, while you guys were talking Flash, I just finished it up.
But, you sound like me when I have to squeeze in some of these episodes during the week. I'm like, wait, I got watch. Let me watch what I can.
Absolutely, man. But yeah, man, this show's fantastic, man. It's freaking good.
Would you also agree that it's the greatest video game adaptation to live action ever?
Ever. And dude, if I can show you something, I am a gamer. I have every system possible. I love story. I was actually telling my cousin last night, because I don't play online all that often. Like, I know the Call of Duties and I have them. I just don't play all that. I love one-player story mode games. Like, I love plot.
Same here.
So that's what I like to play. I'm currently playing Dead Space, which is a game that I played long time ago. But they changed little things, because this is a remake, or not really a remake. They remade the first game, kind of kept the main points of the game. They changed little things here and there, but it's creepy as all hell, but it's great. But I was talking to my cousin, because he's like, oh, jump online, let's play a little bit. And I was like, dude, I'm so into stories. Hence why I love film,
Movie guy,
yeah. So I've been burying my nose into that game, and Last of Us, hands down. Even after the first episode, I'm like, this is the greatest video game adaptation ever, and it's only been one episode. I'm like, there's no way. And some people, again, very angry, homophobic people that got pissed off with episode 3. I thought it was great. The story, I'm there for the story, and they told what a story they told with those two.
Right. As I said on the episode when we talked about it, it's like, when I played this game, if that particular story took 45 minutes out of my gameplay, I wouldn't have been happy about it, right? But the beauty of having this on a television show is you can expand these interesting characters that should not get too much credit, because you gotta the story is second to a video game. The video game is first, keeping the game going.
Of
but
course.
To have this 45-minute beautiful love story in the middle of my zombie apocalypse television show, it's like, and if the only reason you hated it was because it was 2 men, fuck off. That's all I'm saying, bro. Fuck
exactly.
off.
I agree 1,000%. And you kind of hit it the nail on the head right before you guys were going to jump onto Ant-Man. How you said there's no clickers on this, and it's one of the greatest episodes we've gotten, because that is just great storytelling.
Agreed. And I think it also reinforces the biggest threat in a zombie apocalypse is the people, the living. It's kind of like when Walking Dead.
Walking Dead was the same thing. It wasn't just a zombie. It was the zombies at first, and then you start hitting, season 3, when you
Yeah.
start seeing, getting introduced to the governor and all that, and you're like, oh, so people are dicks.
Yeah.
And then it was mostly you had to look out more for the living than the dead. The dead, you kind of figured out what you had to do,
Yeah.
and you didn't. You could the living were the unpredictable. So yeah, absolutely, I agree.
No, and that's what I find fascinating about this. I didn't play the game, so Jason's played the game.
Oh,
I'm coming in
man.
from a different angle.
Great game.
But this is all new to me.
It's gotten so I've owned it. I got it. I beat this game in 2 days when it came out. I was so hooked on this story. Mind you, I had 2013. My son was 2. So I had a 2-year-old running around. I'm like, yeah, bro, whatever you want, bro. And I was like there, like playing my game. Coincidentally, the day I never forget the day the game came out, because the day the game came out, I was actually not feeling well. I was very sick. And I'm like, I'll just get the game later. I called out from work and everything. And same cousin that I'm telling you about, he's my gamer cousin. He's like, have you started this game? And then I was like, no. And he was talking about the introduction with Joe and because you play all that, with Joe and Sarah and Tommy in the car, and that whole tragedy that happens at the beginning of the game. And he goes, I'm like 15 minutes in and I'm already hooked on this. And I was like, all right. So I got up, fever and all, went to GameStop very quick, popped it in, and just that opening hit me hard because I was a father, and I'm like, oh, hell no, what are we getting ourselves into? And I just didn't know it. I was just so into it. And as much as I love to play games, I can't play for too long. So I'll play an hour and a half, 2 hours tops, and then I'll turn it off and I'll do whatever I got to do, and then I'll come back to it. So it takes me a while unless I really, really, really love a game. Last of Us was probably one of the first times that I can tell you I beat a game in 48 hours because I was so hooked on it.
Wow.
God of War, actually, the one that just came out.
Ragnarok. Dude,
Hooked,
as a dad,
yeah,
how much did you cry during that show?
Oh
that
my gosh. Choked up like crazy. But that was a game. I could have beaten it so much faster, but I was having so much fun with Ragnarok. I 100%ed it. There's nothing else for me to do in that game.
Holy crap.
I did all the side, but it took me like a month to beat because I did every little thing on that game. But Last of Us, same thing. So for you guys that have never played the game, I love the fact that obviously this story came out way back when, 2013. I know a lot of, like, I was talking to my mom, they're like, oh, they wrote this because of COVID. I'm like, no, this existed beforehand. And I'm like, it's kind of scary to see like that we kind of, obviously no one turned into zombies or anything, but we were kind of living the whole quarantine life with the mask and everything. It was obviously pretty close to the closest we've ever gotten to a zombie apocalypse, if you will.
Yeah, you're right.
And I just think, again, this game is it's top 3 video games. So again, I got it when it came out on the PS3, right? Because it came out originally for the PlayStation 3. If I'm not mistaken, that game was one of the last PS3 to come out because the PS4 came out later that year. Then they remastered it for the PS4. I bought it, played it again. Then Last of Us 2 came out, played that, and now they re-released Part 1 for the PS5.
Wow.
And I've been itching to get it again because I love it that much. And all my friends are like, dude, you're gonna pay $70 for a game you played like 4 times. I'm like, it's that I just want to support that game so much. Anything that they have to do with this, I'm telling you. And again, not to get ahead of ourselves, if there's anything you guys can do, avoid anything from Last of Us 2 because major shit goes down. So if you don't want, like, major shit goes down in Last of Us 2, avoid all that shit. As blind as you can go into that show, do it. I don't know. Again, they changed things from the game and from the adaptation and all that, but it's pretty much the same as the game. It's just the journey is just slightly different, but I feel like the beginning and the end is going to be exactly the same. And you guys are in for a treat because the Last of Us 1 ends chef's kiss. Wow. So good.
So Jason, definitely you played 2 though, right? You played Last of Us 2?
I never played 2. I played 1. But I played 1 a long time ago, so I know what's going to happen, but there are things I don't. But 2, I'm going to be playing. I'm going to start playing in before the second season, so we can continue on here that you are going in blind, Ed, and I've played the game, but I'm going to wait until it's upon us. So it's
right to me like 2 hours into that game. Tell me.
I will. Jader, I will write you like, all right, this is whatever
be
it
like,
is.
What's going? Trust me, you will. I promise you. But yeah, man. I mean, again, I just love it. I love it. I haven't on it. I've been obviously missing. You know me, man. Like I try to be as much as involved with shows and all that. Life's just been kind of weird lately. I haven't gone to the movies. I haven't seen shit, but obviously we got a Marvel movie out.
So then it had to happen.
Yeah, it had to happen. Mind you, there's no. I told you, there's no AMC. That's why I wrote, "Hey, how does Regal work?" Because there's no AMCs here. There's only Regal. Yeah, there's no AMCs here. They have something called Synergy, and they have Regal, and they have one Regal, and it's probably like 25-30 minutes away from where I live.
Okay.
So I went, which kind of pissed me off. I went to see Quantumania. I saw it at 3:00 Thursday. And I'm there. I'm getting my ticket. No one took my stub. No one checked. I could have just walked right in. Like, yeah, it's no one in box office. No one in concession. You can just walk right in. But I'm not used to it, so I'm like grabbing my ticket. I spent $50 because I took my mom and my little brother to go see it with me. My mom's huge Marvel. She obviously not into depth like us. She just likes the movies overall. I didn't think she was going to I kind of thought about taking her to this one because we're hitting the quantum realm stuff. It's not like I don't know, it's a little different, but she ended up liking it, man.
Nice.
My mom ended up liking it, so we'll get into obviously details now, but
let's jump into the details. But let's get our two other guests that we have on our
shit, I've been talking the whole time. People have been waiting.
No, Tim got on right after, but it was fine. Rick just jumped on. Looks like he found his voice. Let's bring them in here. We got Tim Sabala. Tim, what's up, dude?
What up, man?
First, foremost, I won't get all mushy, but congratulations, guys. I, as a Granny's OG guy myself, I am fucking proud of you guys. I knew you guys would knock this shit out of the park, so I'm looking forward to the next 100. Do it, man. Do it.
Sir.
Thank you.
And Jader, my friend, how have you been? You're a Texas boy now.
I'm good. I'm a Texas boy now, man.
Hey, I'm
getting a little twang in my voice.
The anniversary of my appearance on your show just passed, and I rewatched the whole episode that we did, so I had a good time watching it. Yeah, it was good.
I know. Well, I mean, again, because Kyle going over there and whatnot, he has been hitting me up lately. He wanted to actually start coming back. A little, I guess, an announcement we can do, right? But he wanted to start making moves literally the week I was leaving. And then I had to leave. I had to pack. I'm like, dude, I have no time right now. And then he texted me right when Quantumania came out because he was nervous about the film. Because, I don't know if you guys know this, Kyle is like the #1 Ant-Man fan. That guy protects Ant-Man. Oh, he is obsessed. Yeah. And so I text him, have you seen it? He goes, watching it tomorrow. I had just gotten out of the movie. And then he goes, nervous. I heard it's crap, this and that. And I'm like, watch it. Tell me what you think. And then he texted me Friday. We talked the film a little bit, and then he told me, he goes, not this week, but the next week, let's start something. So I have all the time in the world now, man. So hopefully we start kicking off some episodes, and you boys, as always, more than welcome to come back.
Thanks, man.
We'll be hitting episode 51 4 years later.
All right, but also we do have one more guest though. You've seen him on here as well, Rick Cedrez. Rick, what's up?
Rick,
we still got somebody in Florida on the show. So
what's up, boys?
There you go.
What's up, Rick?
What's going on? Florida's in the house now.
Oh, there you go. We got Texas, Florida, New York. We're all over the place. We got it
all over the place.
All right, so I guess let's get to it. Let's get to the overall thoughts of the film. We'll go around. Jason started off. What did you think of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania? Because we got a divisive MCU film on our hands. So,
man, and I'm surprised it's so divisive. What with the no homosexuals kissing, or no people of color getting prominence. I mean, usually that's what makes these things divisive, right? But I know I like this. I like this a lot. Come on, guys. Kang. What do I have to say more than Kang? He was awesome. I've actually been dipping into Lovecraft country because of the actor, which is not great. I wish it was better, but there's some really good stuff going on. That actor is fantastic. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really enjoyed this. It was not like your other Ant-Man movies. It feels more like a prestige Marvel movie where, like, where we're going to the quantum realm, we're kicking new things
Rick's
off.
going into the quantum realm right now.
Rick is in the quantum realm. Jesus Christ. But I really enjoyed this. Like, overall, I have some gripes that we'll get into later. But if I'm talking overall, I think this was a really fun movie. I don't get why people are trashing it. If they expected fucking Shakespeare in our Paul Rudd Ant-Man movie, that's kind of on them. But like, this gave me what I wanted. This gave me Ant-Man. This gave me the quantum realm. This gave me Kang. And let me just point out, like, and I always forget what's the dude who plays Kang. I always forget his name because my memory.
Jonathan Majors.
Thank you. Jonathan Majors brings such nuance to this, like, B-list over the top comic book supervillain. Like, just the nuance of the beginning when he's, like, actually in the quantum realm and he saves Michelle Pfeiffer and he's scared. I buy that. The fact that he has this connection with Michelle Pfeiffer and kind of wants to help her even though she's realized what he is. Like, it's not fake. And then when he gets her back and he has that moment, it's my favorite scene. He's like, we never talked about what you saw. What did you see? Like, this bothers him. The fact that he lost this relationship to the first person he met in the quantum realm, even though he subjugated and, like, completely took over the entire thing, is bothering him. And I love the nuance of that in that performance. So yeah, I mean, overall, I think this was a really, really fun movie, really good movie. I don't know why people are hating on it, but that's my 2 cents overall for
it. Tim?
Yeah, same. I don't understand the hatred either. I had a real good time. By the way, Jason, your head is perfectly lined up with that, man. It's distracting.
I know,
me, but it's awesome.
Thank you for noticing. That's why I've been doing this the whole time.
I've been looking at
it. Just do the head snap and then have the mask come on and everything.
Yeah, so it's like distracting me a little, but it looks awesome.
No, wait, Tim. Before you go on, how good are we all with nobody cut him off to point that out that whole time?
I could have said I was just enjoying it. I'm like, yeah, he got to be Ant-Man.
You're Ant-Man today.
You off
that's actually you're Ant-Man today. No, I seen it twice. I seen it with Ed again on Saturday. I had a ball. I thought it was great. I was nervous too going in doing a whole movie in the quantum realm. Not my thing really, but like you said, Kang, phenomenal, fantastic. I'm looking forward when you're devoting an entire phase to one character like this. I am looking forward to every variant that we get to see of Kang now. It's going to be exciting. Even the ones we saw at the end got me all excited. I was like, this dude is bringing the Kang variants to life. And then the one at the second post credit. Plus, I went back and watched his end scene on Loki when he explains who he is and how. Oh my God, I'm just so looking forward to him coming up as the big villain in the next one. But I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was, was it top 10 Marvel movie? No, but it was fun. I had a good time watching it, and I don't know what people are looking for anymore, but I had a good time with it. I liked it.
Jader?
Kang, that's my review. That's it. That's it. No, honestly, that's it. Eric? Yeah, honestly, same thing. I wasn't as excited to see this movie for some reason. It wasn't one of the ones that I was like, I need to be like, I don't know. I was, the first showing, but I even woke up that day. I'm like, oh yeah, shit, fuck, it's Ant-Man Day today. Like, completely, wasn't even, and I'm usually like counting down when these movies are coming out. It wasn't that the trailer didn't look good to me, but kind of like what Timmy said, the quantum realm, I'm like, what are we really gonna do in there? What's gonna happen? And again, me as well. I didn't see reviews before going in, and then I'm like, oh, it's probably gonna be, not loved but liked. And then I saw it was getting bashed, and I'm like, dude, it was not that bad. not at all. I feel like Jonathan Majors and Michelle Pfeiffer stole the fucking show.
For sure.
Janet, she was great. She was fantastic on that. And I feel like this was kind of like it was more Star Wars-y than Guardians. I did feel like it reminded me a lot of Star Wars, and pretty much like there was nothing in this movie, honestly, that I was just like, well, no, never mind. There is something that I actually hated in this movie, which we'll get to in a bit. But I felt like Jonathan Majors just, he was fucking epic. Man showed up to work. He knew what he signed up for. The only glimpse we had gotten of him, obviously, was in Loki, which was a variant of Kang, and seeing that and seeing him, what this variant did. He was just engaging, man. He was engaging. He was a threat. I felt like, a lot of people are like, oh, he wasn't that. I'm like, dude, he was. If anything, if you have to give this movie any type of props, it's that this man showed up to work. And again, I had fun with the characters. I don't remember characters' names all that well besides our main heroes, but I love the little red sponge hole thing. That what's his name? Which I had no idea was him.
Name.
It's David
Kurt.
D.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Polka dot man. So I saw him in the credits, and I'm like, was it a deleted scene or so, or did I miss it? Because I'm like, obviously, he's in the Ant-Man movies, and I'm like, how the hell? I'm like, did I miss that? And then I find out it was him, and I'm like, oh man, that was great. But I had a good time, man. It was again, just like Tim said. Was it top 10, top 5 MC? No, but it was perfectly fine, and that's okay. Not every Marvel movie is gonna be a home run. It was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So
Veb was the character that he voiced.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, he's great.
Drink the goose.
He was great. That was great. Loved him. There was a lot of little side characters, and the yellow looking thing that is with the
laser face.
Yes.
Yeah, man, that was pretty cool. Kind of broke my heart at the end, and I was like, oh man. But I had fun with the different characters that we had. One thing that I thought was genius, which we're gonna obviously start getting into more detail, but them drinking the ooze,
yes,
and being able to understand, I thought that was fantastic. I'm like, man, I would have never thought about it. I'm like, how the hell are they gonna be able to talk to each other? And then when they did that, I'm like, bro, this is awesome.
Well, that's what I told Jason after the movie. I was just like, something? I'm glad that it's something you don't really need to address, but I'm so happy they did address, because you wonder, Thanos showed up and knew how to speak English out of nowhere, and you kind of just let it go. You're like, the movie has to happen.
He had the Infinity Gauntlet. The Infinity Gauntlet allows him to speak English.
Exactly. Whatever. But a cool detail that they explained. Rick, what do you got here?
Well, first off, English is the international language of the galaxy.
Yes,
so all aliens
universal.
Speak it. Yes, the universal language. All aliens speak it. Even E.T. He came to Earth, started speaking English.
That's true. It's true, actually.
So
that's a fair
point. Kind of torn on this movie. I feel like I should be cheering along with you guys, but Kang,
shoulder shrug.
Kang is giving me like these serious Ultron vibes where he couldn't win a fight. Like he'd show up, talk all witty and look all cool, and then lose a fight. And it's like happening over and over again. And that's something that I didn't realize until I rewatched the old Avengers movie. And I noticed Ultron did lose like every fight he was in. And I feel like Kang is doing the same thing. Like I would have rather him been like Thanos and just be in the background. Like if he's not going to show up and just whoop ass, just be in the background and say random stuff like, I guess I'll do it myself. Okay. That's just my thing. And I love Jonathan Majors. When I watched Lovecraft Country, I was pissed it's only one season. Again, it's not great, but I thought he did a great job.
Agreed.
What's the other one? The Watchmen. Oh no, he's not in The Watchmen. I'm sorry. I just love that.
I was like, I haven't seen that. He's in
one
that
season. I loved it, and they canceled after one season. Sorry, that just always comes up. But back to Ant-Man. Kang could be more for me, or he could be less. I think he should just be less. I I did love the Micronauts being introduced. Hopefully, my Micronauts #1, which is in 9 out of 10 condition, is worth something now. I like the daddy-daughter moments. Being a dad girl myself, I would have liked to have more of them. But I think like they did the best with what they got, in my opinion. I don't think they have the best actors in the whole MCU in this franchise. I don't think they have the baddest character in the whole MCU in this franchise. However, this franchise always puts out some of my favorite movies. Like I was ranking this against Thor's trilogy, like to see which one I like better.
It's got 4 of them.
Oh, well, yeah. Either way, I was comparing series to series to see which one I like better because I think they're kind of comparable. I think it's a pretty fair comparison. But no, I really like the movie. Can't wait to watch it again. I want to see it again in 3D. But I'm sure as we do a deeper and deeper dive, I'll be able to express, the little things that I was like, this could have been better. Like, can Kang win a fight? Just little things like that.
Okay. All right. I enjoyed this movie. I don't think it's a top tier MCU film. Again, I'm not going to put it in the top 10 or anything like that, but I enjoyed the hell out of it. I had a great time watching it. I enjoyed the characters. I laughed throughout. It had the great Ant-Man self-deprecating humor throughout it, which I had read previously that it was like, it's joyless. I'm like, no, I didn't get that at all. I actually had a good time throughout the whole thing. I thought that was nuts. And I loved Kang. I thought Kang was phenomenal. I thought he was imposing. I thought he was terrifying. And I think Jonathan Majors commands the screen in every scene he's in. And especially like when we really first see him, when he shows up, when Scott and Cassie are in prison, and the way he throws MODOK against the wall and says, "Don't even speak when I'm in the same room." That hit home because I was like, wow, this dude is not fucking around. Like he's even telling his hunter that he just created to don't even speak when I'm around. Dude, that was crazy.
And even though the line was spoiled in the trailer, but I think that's such a hard line when he looks at him and he goes, "Oh, you're an Avenger." He goes, "Have I killed you before?"
Yeah.
I really I love that. Even when I first heard it, I'm like, man, that's badass. Obviously, there was some kind of humor after that with the MCU usually does, a serious thing, and then you hit humor right after where he's like, "You're the one with the hammer," and he goes, "Yeah, they mistake us all the time," which I thought was great.
Yeah, same body type.
Same body type and all that. So I thought that was great. But if you notice, I don't know if you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys have done your review of Love and Thunder. I don't like that movie.
Okay.
I don't plan to watch that movie again. I really did not dig that movie whatsoever. It's bottom tier. It's like bottom 3, 4 for me. I really didn't like it.
Okay.
Because I felt like the ideas were cool. I felt Bale was fantastic, but I felt it was joke. It was too much. I felt like this movie could have had that because being Paul Rudd is a comedian actor. And they didn't do that, especially when it was the Kang scenes. When Kang was around, besides that one line that he did, it was all seriousness.
Yeah.
There was barely any jokes around when he was around, and I like that because it makes him more of that threat. Like people knew he was not to be fucked with. At least I felt that way.
Like Thanos. Thanos. There's no real jokes in Thanos scenes either.
Yeah, so I really, really like that they took that approach in an Ant-Man film, which is known for their comedy. Like they have way more comedies in the first 2 than in this one, So yeah, that's something that I loved when you mentioned that scene alone with MODOK. That one of the things that I loved was when he says that to Ant-Man. I'm like, bro, this guy's not fucking around.
No, not at all. But I think overall with this movie is for me, this movie works really well as an entry into the MCU and as a sequel in the Ant-Man franchise and kicking things off to Phase 5. I can understand some of the critiques of it as a standalone film because I kind of think critics have to critique it as a standalone film, right?
It as a standalone.
Do it properly.
But it's so fucking hard to do that with the MCU also.
Exactly. But that's my point.
They're all stories that they all connect.
And that's my point. We're 20-something films into this, and you kind of got to know what you're going into. Now, as a standalone film, yeah, there's a lot of the backstory and character development of all these characters that we get prior, except for Janet Van Dyne. We had mentioned Michelle Pfeiffer. She gets a lot of her exploration in this film, which is awesome that she gets front and center. And
I loved her in this. Loved her.
No, me too. And we get Kang. Like, it's focused on the two of them. But everyone else, you know what's going on about them leading up into this, and they develop them a little bit, but they're not the focal point, which is fine for me. But I can understand, again, like what you're critiquing, but you also need to, as a critic, need to know what you're walking into at this point. There is a streamline of a story that's going on here, and you can't ignore all of that. Someone jumping into Quantumania and never seeing anything, I think they would probably struggle with this film. But you shouldn't be.
Well, yes and no. Let me tell you. Well, if you go completely blind, then yeah. But my brother that I mentioned that I had taken him.
Okay.
He had not seen Love and Thunder. He had not seen Shang-Chi. He had not seen. He says the last movie he saw was Endgame.
Okay.
That he completely missed all of Phase 4. He hadn't seen Doctor Strange. He hadn't seen anything. He said the only one in Phase 4 that he saw was No Way Home. Because obviously there's no way home.
Yeah.
And he walked out and he was like, I'm like, did you understand? He's like, yeah. He's like, I understood everything. He's like, I don't feel like you need to watch the other ones to connect to this one.
But did you see the other Ant-Man films?
He's seen Ant-Man. Yeah,
okay.
he's seen
all right, that's fine.
He's seen the Ant-Man films.
Okay.
But he also liked it. He told me because he went online and he goes, dude, this movie's getting bashed. And I thought it was pretty good. And I was like, yeah, it's critics, man. You know how it is.
Yeah.
And then but yeah, that's why I feel like if you're familiar with the characters, you just obviously have to know, get an idea. And they mentioned the quantum realm in every single Ant-Man film, so you kind of know where you're going. Other than that, it's good. I thought it was a good intro to real intro to Kang.
Yeah, well, what I meant is if you haven't seen the other Ant-Man films or Endgame, Phase 4, no, you could have skipped Phase 4. Loki would have given you some better background to Kang, but it wasn't absolutely necessary.
Luckily, he saw Loki with me when it aired,
right.
So he that was another thing that helped, obviously. So he was pretty excited to see who Kang was. So yeah.
Okay, Rick, I'm sorry, you had something?
I was gonna say I took a really different approach to this film. When I went to go see it, I was like, I'm gonna act with this movie like this is the first ever MCU film. So that's the frame of mind that I went into it with, because everybody hated the last phase, right? So I was like, let's see if everybody complained about the last phase, let's see what this new phase does about it. And I walked in and I was like, I'm going to treat this like this is a brand new first MCU film. And honestly, in the first 5 minutes of the movie, I got that he was Ant-Man. I got that he was a mislabeled celebrity because everybody kept calling him Spider-Man. I got that Miles Morales lives in his universe when he gave him 5 and he's sitting on the chair. Like in the first 5 minutes, I literally got all the rundown I needed. He sees his daughter. You understand that there's been a gap in their relationship. All this stuff happens. You even get a background for Kang. He came from another universe and he landed here and he's dangerous. Like, people saying that you need to watch everything in order to enjoy a movie. Like, if you just pay attention to this movie, you don't need to actually have seen everything. They're amplifiers. To me, they're amplifiers. But I feel like a lot of things in this film, like, if I can sit down and watch a Netflix movie with no background, I can sit down and watch this Ant-Man movie with no background and enjoy the whole film. That was my big take from it, because I knew there was going to be a ton of, identity issues with this film and people having a bad taste in their mouth in the last phase. If you can sit down and enjoy a Netflix movie and hand wave a lot, you can sit down and enjoy this movie.
Well, I'm just saying, and again, I think that the character development was one of the knocks I've seen in some of it. And that's what they were kind of built up in other films. I'm not saying they don't address any of it. They do. But you would get more out of it. That's where I think we're at with a lot of the MCU. But you're right. Phase 4 has not much of a connection to this outside of Loki. And that's fine. Not every single movie has to be super interconnected. Just the characters that are there. They're through line throughout the films is what I was kind of like harping on with that. And I guess any kind of issues that we've had with it. I mean, specifically, I knew that's what you were referencing. I knew that's what you were referencing.
I fucking hated MODOK, bro. I was like, what the fuck is this? They could have cut him out the fucking film for me. You know, I think the idea of MODOK was great. The fact that they got Darren Cross, took him in the quantum realm, all that shit was cool. I thought he looked like shit compared to the rest of the film because I felt like the CGI in the movie overall looked really good until his face comes on or off. I don't know.
It's revealed. It's revealed.
That's the reveal, the face, the shred. It just looked shitty, man.
Gator,
And
I'm going to agree with you, and I'm gonna because I talked to you about this, Ed. And I'm gonna take it one thing farther. His face looked okay in profile. Whenever you had like depth, it looked okay, but every time it was straight on, it reminded me of like a flat screen, like 90s.
Yeah,
like I was looking
like
at
you know how
GoldenEye.
those yes, exactly what I thought about because I've been playing GoldenEye since they re-released it, and I'm like, this looks like a Nintendo 64 character, man. It looks so shitty. And it was honestly, it was that. It was right when it was in your face. It looked, you know, when the fit to screen option on your TV when you have it. Like my grandma didn't like, the widescreen, so she goes fit to screen. It's like that's what it looked like to me. It just looked so crappy. And even the character itself, like didn't do it for me, man, whatsoever. It started off pretty good. I'm like, oh shit, that's pretty interesting. I had an idea that he was in it. I heard the rumors. I had it wasn't stamped until obviously I saw it. I'm like, I wasn't surprised by it when the reveal came out. I was like, oh shit, people were right. All right, cool. But just as it progressed, I was like, get this guy out of the screen, please. I was having such a good time, and every time he would pop up, I'm like, ugh. So that was my gripe with the film was that. And then I had a little small gripe towards the end when Michael Douglas comes and saves the day with all the ants and they kind of just take Kang away. I honestly thought that was it and we were going to see him again. I was super pissed off. I'm like, if this is the way Kang goes out, this movie's a piece of shit. I fucking hate it. But then he comes back and obviously, you know, we have our final fight or whatnot. So, but I kind of saying what Rick has been saying. He was like, he kind of brought it more into light, Rick, right now when he was like, dude, he loses every fight. And he kind of did. Like, there was never a moment that they were really, really, really threatened to the point where, like, how are they going to get out of this? Which I thought was going to happen a lot. I actually thought this movie was going to end on a big cliffhanger with something really bad happening. And it kind of ended in a lighter note, even him joking about it, like, did I take care of this guy? Did I not take care of this guy? Oh, we'll figure it out later. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Figure that in the next movie.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought, honestly, this movie was going to end on some crazy, like, cliffhanger. And I know we're just starting the phase and we're going to be seeing a lot of Kang throughout and a lot of variants and whatnot. But I thought this was going to be one that was going to be like, oh, shit, where are we going next? Like, what's going to happen now? You know? But,
Yeah, no, I will say that I'm on the exact opposite end of the spectrum for MODOK.
Yeah, no, I had some friends that loved him, man.
I'll say this. I loved MODOK in this movie. I thought he was funny. I thought that's why he's there. He's always been this. Jason and I talk about this off the side. He's a completely weird and goofy character who we never thought we'd have seen in a million years. But I also think he looked like that on purpose. I'm not going to lie, because that's kind of how he looks in all the iterations of this bizarre, weird, flat face that doesn't fit. And I kind of think that they were going with that. And I don't know, it didn't take me out of anything. And his whole weird storyline of not wanting to, like, he wouldn't answer Scott when he called him Darren. And he was like, only would answer to MODOK.
that part did make me laugh.
That was good. I thought that was funny. And I thought the whole thing with Cassie telling him not to be a dick. I don't know. And then telling Scott at the end we were always brothers and all this other. I don't know. I just thought he was this weird, character.
See, I was like, what?
But he was being an asshole. He was just like, whatever. I don't know. It worked for me. It worked, but I can see where it wouldn't work for some people. I don't I'm oblivious to it. But I don't know. I kind of dug it. I thought it's MODOK. He's weird. He's just weird, dude. Like, watch the Hulu series. Or anyone who didn't see it, that
No, yeah, I
Robot
saw it. I
Chicken
saw
thing,
it.
it's
Yeah,
bizarre.
it's no, see, but that I like. I don't know. I guess it works. Yeah, it works in a
Yeah.
comic, in a cartoon, live action. I was honestly, that's another thing. I wasn't really expecting to see MODOK in live action anytime soon. Obviously, we knew it was coming. He released them in the trailer.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh shit, MODOK's gonna be here. I wonder how they're gonna. I even said, I'm like, I wonder how they're gonna interpret it because he is a weird character. But it just didn't work.
I think I'm with Ed on this one. When you Eddie forced me to watch the MODOK TV show, and I thought it was the stupidest thing ever. I thought Hit Monkey was the stupidest thing ever. And then I watched both of them in like one Saturday afternoon and really enjoyed it. So
Patton Oswalt was great, man. Patton Oswalt
coming into this
great,
movie,
man.
I was pretty excited to see him in live action. And he was just as fucking silly in Star Wars as he can possibly be and fit right in with the movie. Like, I enjoyed the character. When he had to be threatening, he was threatening. When he had to be funny, he was funny. And I'm with Ed. I think the silly graphics, like, that's what he looks like. You know,
he's just weird.
I definitely noticed the silly graphics, but yeah.
So I have a question. Did any of you guys play the Avengers game for PS4? Because the villain of that is MODOK, and it's a MODOK origin story. And they actually handle MODOK in a way that doesn't make him just weird and goofy.
Should I keep playing it? Because I gave up.
I mean, story-wise, yes, but gameplay, it doesn't get any better. But the payoff of the story is good.
I'm having that same issue with Gotham Knights. I can't get through Gotham Knights because
I just bought it. It's that bad? I just bought it for like $40.
Yeah. Look, it's one of the few that I actually have. Oh shit! I have it on fucking right here. It's not that it's that bad. You'll see if you played Arkham and you jump to this, or if you're playing like something like God of War and you jump to this, you'll notice how clunky it is.
Okay.
And it bothered me. So that's all it is. Yeah.
All right, Tim, you're the tiebreaker.
Tim, what did you think of MODOK?
I didn't mind him at all. I didn't, because it's a fucking goofy ass character. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him in another movie. So I kind of like this one-off goofy little bastard that he was. I thought he was very entertaining because I thought Darren Cross was a dick. And he was such a dick. He was annoying at times. This kind of lightened him up a bit. I love the line with, at least, we're brothers and at least I'm dying an Avenger. I thought that was a fucking great line. It was funny. Because everyone's like, what do you mean you're dying an Avenger?
They're kind of like, just go along with it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Scott's like, to die.
You're on the team,
He's
buddy.
like, yeah, Ant-Man's like, you're in. You're in.
As me and Ed were talking about it too, I think, and JD, you said the CGI was great. I think it was made to look wonky. Like, I mean, it looked good, but I mean, it was made to look odd. It was made to look a little weird, just like the little pink fucking guy when he's running, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think it was made to look a certain way, just so you know, all right, this is the quantum realm. You know what you're getting into. There's some weird shit down there. It's all good. And MODOK fit perfectly into that whole scenario. So I like him. I thought he was cool. Do I want to see him again? No. Don't have to.
Or you're not going to.
Yeah.
No, he's done. That's it.
The villain in She-Hulk season 2.
Yeah, no, I'm good. For a one-off for that kind of character, I'm good. And I did. I liked him. He was all right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought I was going to be in the majority. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought everyone was going to be with me. Nope. Not one.
Well, my own personal critiques of the film, like I shared earlier, was just kind of like, if you're judging it as a standalone, if for an entry into the MCU, I didn't really have too many gripes. I dubbed Scott.
He was it, to be honest with you. He was it, and then the ants taking him away. But again, it was quickly recovered when he did, when they somewhat did fight at the end. Well, not somewhat, they did fight at the end. But those were my only two. I'm like, I don't understand why people don't like that. I thought Bill Murray did his job. I didn't really mention him. Bill Murray was great in it. In and out, did what he had to do. He was Bill Murray. I did feel like Hope was kind of pushed to the side, being it called Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. I felt like she was really put to the side. But that's pretty much it, to be honest with you. Michael Douglas was fine in it, as Hank, as he usually is. Again, another We didn't see. I feel like it was more a focus on obviously our two main characters, which was Kang and Scott.
Yeah, and
You know?
Janet would probably
So-
be the other one I would thrown into the
And
main
Janet, yeah,
character.
exactly. Sorry, yeah, Janet,
Um,
obviously, yeah.
But I agree with you about Hope getting kind of pushed to the side for most of the film until the ending. And I think I said this is that when she comes back, because out of between her and Scott, she's better with her hands than Scott.
Absolutely.
Scott's gotten better, but she trained him. When they
Yeah.
fought Kang hand to hand, like I was like, all right, cool. She's the one who's gonna go ahead and start whooping ass. And she did when she gets her opportunities to display that. And by the way, Kang also beats the crap out of Scott in that fight. Which rightfully so. He beats the piss out of him.
Breaks his helmet by stomping it, which was so badass, I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it took a lot to take Kang
fight.
down.
I like that fight at the end. That fight was dope as fuck at the end.
And I'm going to bring in Alex's comment over here because I wanted to follow up on this. The scene where Scott started to doubt himself at the end by defeating Kang. That's kind of how I took it, Alex. I'm with you on this. I took it as a haunting thing because, number one, we've never seen that in the MCU. Usually, the hero gets to do what they got to do, and that's it. But this dude's like, having a happy, funny ending, and then it's just like, oh, wait, but he's dead, right? Like, maybe? Right. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. Sure?
Did I do worse by killing him because
questioning
he said I killed him? Yeah.
It's a Doctor Strange ending.
It is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
but even in the... Go ahead, my buddy.
No, I was going to say, because we know we know where this is all going ahead, and he's setting him up as
eventually,
the big bad. Yeah, eventually. But we also don't really know if this Kang is even dead for sure.
That's where I was going to actually mention right now. So this is the thing. I took it. I guess we're going to jump into mid-credit. Yeah, we're going to do mid-credits now because for me, when he got sapped into whatever he did at the end, I was like, and Scott starts doubting himself. I'm like, there's no way that, because everybody's like, oh, he's dead. He's a different variant. As you go into the post-credit, they're saying the exiled one is gone.
Right.
But in my opinion, they exiled him because he's the bad one, like the really, really bad one. That's the one that they had to get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
That's how I interpret it, as he's going to come back and it's going to be the same variant that fought Scott and Hope at the end. I don't think he's dead, but a bunch of my friends are like, no, dude, the reason why the post-credit scene exists is because this guy's now dead. I didn't take it that way. I took it as he's dead to them, but he's not. He's actually going to come back and be a bigger motherfucker now.
Yeah, because in the mid-credit scene, we get Ramatut and we get Immortus. Because He Who Remains was the one that we had seen in Loki, but now we're getting these other dudes, and we see them all jumping around. By the way, at the end, and like there's other Kangs that look like
so
the one
happy.
That we fought. They're so
happy to be in the Council of Kang.
The Council of Kang, kind of like the Council of Wells that we saw in the Flash.
That's exactly what I thought. The Council of Wells. It's the Council of Kang, except there are millions of them in the same arena cheering each other. God. Gentlemen, that's my dream, to wake up in a universe where there are a million me cheering me on in the center of the stage.
The Council of Jasons.
The Council of Fish Dicks.
It's funny as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, there's also a chance, but in Kang Dynasty, dude, the Avengers might be fighting many Kangs at the same time. It might just be one at a time. I mean,
which is kind of what Rick was saying with Ultron. Yeah. And Kang, like the correlation there's a bunch of Ultrons, it could be a bunch of Kangs, so I understand what it's like.
Yeah, it's a pretty imposing thing, and then the post-credit scene is pretty much the alley-oop, for Loki season 2.
That was my favorite. That was my favorite, man. I loved that. I loved
Victor
seeing that. I'm so hyped. Yes, man. I cannot wait.
Is that a comic book Kang variant, Victor Timely, or could that possibly be our? Oh, that is okay.
No, that is.
It's a Kang variant. The name Timely from the original name of Marvel Comics.
Oh, interesting.
Nice job, Rick. Nice job.
Yeah. Kang's like the most retconned character ever, so good luck guessing whatever the
Yeah.
good luck guessing what the next phase of his journey will be. I've like spent hours on it and I was like, this could be anything.
Yeah.
It's whatever the hell they want it to be.
Yeah.
But did anyone,
hilarious.
except for me, I kind of thought that maybe this Kang was actually the good one, and he really was the one that was keeping the rest of them in check. Again, his motivation to get out, while seemed evil, could have been actually for the best intentions, because now he's like, well, good luck. You got rid of me, and now you're in all in deep shit, because now the other 3 million of me are on their way, and you're all screwed. I kind of saw it that way a little bit. Whether I'm right or wrong, I have no idea.
That's what
No,
he
that's
says.
a good possibility. He
That's actually a dope take.
Yeah.
I never even thought about that. That's actually a pretty cool take.
I was just thinking, he might have been so desperate to get out because he's the only one that can stop the other fucking 3 million of them. That's why they got rid of him. And now they got rid of him. Look how happy they were at the end, jumping around like a bunch of morons.
Yeah. So we've met two Kangs, and they're both saying similar things, though. Like, He Who Remains is pretty much saying, if you kill me, you're going to unleash all my variants, and they're all going to show up. And now this Kang kind of said sort of the same thing. Like, dude, I got to get out of here because I need to, stop this shit. Otherwise, the world is going to end and it's going to be all over. And he gets stopped also. So which one's telling the truth? Are they
All
both
of
full of shit? Or are they all telling the truth?
Right.
Yeah, so
they're all telling their own truth.
Yeah,
Okay.
but either this Kang was so bad that they had to team up and get rid of him, or he was the one trying to stop them. I think it's a good, what if kind of holy shit, what kind of scenario are we dealing with here, which we won't find out probably until fucking 2026, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, whenever they're gonna decide, because I know they didn't say when they're dropping Loki season 2. I know it's this year. We don't know if it's during the summer. My guess is during the summer, because now that we have a gap between Guardians 3 and the Marvels, like there's a long gap in that. So I'm guessing they're gonna pepper in some of these, the 2 shows that are dropping this year. We should be seeing a lot of. Are we going to see multiple Kangs in that? Are we going to see one throughout that season? Is it just Victor Timely that they'll be chasing?
I don't know.
I'm just throwing out any possibilities because we know we're going to see a lot more of this dude.
That show can go anywhere. That's the beauty of Loki. And if you watch that first season, it can go anywhere, and it will, because that's what it did the first season. So, yeah.
I wonder how much Majors is making for this. You figure all the movies, all the TV shows, he's doing a lot of work.
I got to imagine it's a full load.
$1 billion, when it's all said and done, probably
30 different costume changes and makeup, and he got to be making good bank this year.
And talking about makeup and costumes and stuff, I want to point out how awesome it was, because if anyone knows comic book Kang, he's got that like mask and it shows like the lines down his face, and the fact that this Kang, it was scars on his face that was illuminated by the mask. There was just something. I don't know. It was a great choice.
His suit, everything about it was great. His costume design was amazing. Yeah, they nailed it.
True.
Yeah. And I think, Rick, maybe you had pointed out, this does feel like the somewhat Star Wars entry into the MCU, which I'm fine with. I don't see that as a knock, because part of the thing that Jason and I usually always praise the MCU for is that we get something different every time out. Like we get a different style of movie. We've gotten a heist movie. We've gotten this 70s political spy thriller with Winter Soldier. And now we've gotten, I guess, our Star Wars-ish entry into this.
Well, technically it would have been Guardians, right?
Yeah, but space opera.
But it was a space opera, exactly. And I felt like this was, I don't know, I felt again this was more Star Warsy than freaking because even
felt like the cantina.
I don't know why I'm having
for sure.
Seen this? Yes, dude. Exactly. I told my girl, I'm like, my girl is the one that called me. She goes, "There's a freaking canteen in this movie." I'm like, right? I'm like, wasn't that wild? So
yeah. Dude, go ahead, Jason.
No, that broccoli-headed guy was in a Star Wars movie, right? Like we had broccoli-headed.
That was great.
When I was watching, with how different this film was and the way everything played out at the end, for me, this brought me one step closer to Mojo being in the MCU.
Oh,
like I could see like Mojo's whole like vibe being a lot like this film.
Yeah, I can see that. That's a good point.
So
I can
that's
see
like
that.
I started thinking about that. Hopefully, we'll get X-Men at some point.
And you know when Mojo comes to the MCU, I am running that episode. We're having guests. We're treating it like it is 100th episode because it's that special because Mojo is here, guys. And just so everyone knows, those of us who haven't been with us since the beginning, I have been talking about Mojo since episode 1 of this series.
It's true. It's been 100 times now. We talked about Mojo.
It's 100. I talked about Mojo.
Did you? I personally didn't think that there was a place in this story for them, but did you guys feel like a missing piece from Luis and Kurt and Dave being out of this film? I just didn't think where the hell would you fit them?
Quickly, they weren't needed, but quick little recap in the beginning would have been great, as we always want from Luis.
Okay,
you get me, but it made no sense. The how it plays out, it just didn't make sense to really have him in there.
It would have felt forced, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I think the storytelling aspect would have felt forced. I don't think we needed that, but I think when we had that montage in the beginning, they could have been there. He very easily could have been visiting, like, you know, con, whatever, ex-con security, whatever it was. And I think they should have had a cameo like other people. I don't think they should have, like, there should have been a story or anything. But, you know, I did kind of miss them in that aspect. We got Jimmy Woo, and I mean, he was only in the second one.
Yeah, it was very, very quick.
I loved that quick cameo from Jimmy Woo in this. That is showing the magic tricks again. They kind of just addressed, and he was actually having lunch with Scott. Because at the end of the last movie, they referenced that. So I thought that was pretty funny.
You know the coffee guy, the older man that tells him good luck, thank you, Spider-Man. You know that was by mistake originally.
Really?
So my mom, so they were interviewing. He's a Spanish actor, and they were interviewing him on like Univision or something like that. And he said that he blurted that line completely by accident, and that the whole crew laughed so hard they're like, "We're keeping it." So they did different takes with it. But it was a little fun fact there. So when he goes, it was honest, and he said it was an honest mistake. I said Spider-Man. He goes out of habit because he's such a popular character. That they were cracking up, and then he looked, and then they're like, "It's Ant-Man," and then everybody was laughing. He's like, "Oh, my mistake," and then they apparently Peyton Reed was like,
let's go with it.
That was excellent.
What's great about that is that became a trailer line. That's what's great.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant. It was so good that it was in the trailer. Exactly. So my mom actually gave me that little fun fact. She was like, "Oh, you know, I was watching an interview with that man." I was like, "Oh shit, that's funny as hell."
Shout out to Chinder's mom, man.
Yeah, man.
Contributing to the show.
You know, the opportunity they missed by cutting those guys out was when they introduced the Micronauts. They could have let them have some personality.
All right, you need to go ahead. Explain your Micronauts thing and your Miles Morales thing that you're running.
That's who it is. Who do you think the guy with the light bulb head was? All right. The
light bulb head guy. Who the hell is?
Wait. Miles Morales?
Oh, no. You heard me right, Tim. Don't worry. He'll get to it.
A 70s rando group.
Anyway. Go ahead, Rick. Share with Tim your Miles Morales thing.
Oh. Am I the only one that noticed Miles Morales was in the beginning of the movie and gave him 5?
When he gives him the high five, that kid?
Yes. And
he's not in San Francisco.
My backup on it is that it was Peter Parker in Spider-Man and Iron Man 2.
Yeah, that we know.
Right.
That was proven.
How is that not Miles Morales?
Because it's San Francisco.
And?
He doesn't live there.
He's American. He can travel the country.
He can travel the country. You're right on that.
By himself.
No, he thinks the Prowler took him there.
I said he was there with his uncle.
Like Legoland or some shit.
Bam. He's there with his uncle. Getting bit by a spider.
I'm disagreeing with you on that one.
Rick, I think Peyton Reed didn't know that was Miles
Morales. In 3 years, we can go back and check the receipts on this episode and be like, holy shit, you were right.
Rick, if they retrofit Miles Morales into this movie in a couple of years, then absolute props.
Venom's in San Francisco, man.
Yeah, you know? I've made more random calls.
It's true. This is true.
What the hell is a Micronaut, by the way?
It's just a old Marvel comic book, like Rom or I don't know any of the ones that kind of sucked in the 70s or
remember
80s that we all
Raw.
spent 50
Yeah, they were
cents
like they
on.
look like bugs and shit like that, right? If I'm not
No,
mistaken,
no.
they were like
Just like the
no?
guys that were running around with Ant-Man in that little universe.
So basically, ROM would be in those packets you would buy as a kid from the
Right.
store of comics. There would be Spider-Man on one side and ROM would be on the other to
Yeah.
fucking sucker you in.
Yeah.
That's what ROM is.
Yes. And then some of those
Ramen.
packages had Micronauts stuck in the middle.
They
of
would
them
be the
also.
middle comic because they
Yeah,
dragged
the
into
middle
Spider-Man.
The
comic.
middle
and then
comic
it's like
was always
Gru.
the worst.
Yes.
What else sucks? Gru sucked. Silver Sable comic sucked.
Yeah.
Those packs were solid.
Those
Send
packs
comics
are
for
what
$5.
makes up Rick's comic book collection. Just the middle of those packs. That's your comic book collection.
Jason, don't forget, I saw Rick's comic book collection when I packed it up for him and shipped
I
it
know
to
you
Florida.
did.
So I got to see some very interesting entries into that shit.
I have Howard the Duck #1.
That's
Yeah, you do.
impressive.
Hopefully, when
respect for that.
they'll redo that, that'll be worth something at
And
some
his
point.
pride and glory, the Nightcrawler miniseries.
Also solid. Like
Really?
I don't
Yes.
know, Rick. You
1
and
through
I have
4, he
very
has them
similar
all.
tastes.
I had that one, the Dazzler miniseries. The X-Men miniseries were great in the 80s.
There's a lot of them.
They were weird. I got the long shot one too in Mojo World.
Yes, you do.
Do we have any? Is there any other points that maybe we missed or details we wanted?
So-
Does anyone want to dive into with this movie?
Yeah, I wanted to talk. My only gripes about this movie, I want to talk about were the end.
Okay.
Because I was like, me, buy the ticket, take the ride. They laid down very quickly what the rules are. They adhere to those rules. I'm good. But I don't know. The end seems too easy. Like we got to open this thing up. And everyone's going to get through, but Scott's going to stay, and he's going to get his ass kicked by Kang, but he's got to just make sure that they both lose. But then Cassie's just going to open up that second door, and everything's going to be fine. And that bugged me, man. Like, they put so much, onus on being stuck in the quantum realm, and, like when the Wasp comes back, and she helps him beat Kang, and it's like, we're going to be stuck in the quantum realm for 30 seconds. Cassie's got that second door open, no worries. That just bugged me.
So
Michael Douglas is like 85 years old. They could have let him go in this movie.
Well, you wanted them to kill Hank Pym in this movie?
Yes.
Jesus
Wow.
Christ, bro.
Is he really going to make it to the
Jesus
next
Christ
film?
is right. Damn it, man.
You got
Hopefully
to
he
recast
does.
the role or like do the
No.
computer graphics over his face. They
Dude,
could have let
Harrison
him go.
Ford
with
is
that.
about to take over as freaking General Ross. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, no. Well, again, Jason, I'm kind of with you. I thought this movie was gonna end in some crazy threat, like holy shit moment, and we had it for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Where I was like, oh shit, Ant-Man. I mean, Ant-Man. Scott is gonna be stuck in a quantum realm. How the hell are they gonna get him out? And then shortly after, I was like, oh yeah. Once the portal opened, I'm like, oh yeah, well, Cassie can open it. Of course you can. Like,
Right.
I get that completely.
And it led me to this thing too. Like, so Cassie has no idea what's going on in the quantum realm. She very well could have opened that door to Kang killing her parents or her, stepmother and father and walking out. Like, she had no fucking idea. Like, I don't know. It was that was the only part of the movie that I was like, way too easy.
Would it have worked better for you guys if the movie, because I agree with Jader. I thought we were going to end this on like an Empire Strikes Back type of thing.
Yeah.
Kind of not as crazy as Infinity War, because Infinity War ended on the ultimate Empire Strikes Back story, which I think we all probably kind of assumed was going to happen. I felt it was going to end like on a what the fuck moment. Would it have worked better if they would have got Scott and Hope out in like the post-credit scene, maybe? If they dragged it out a little bit, or did you want?
No, I would have. Honestly, I would have preferred them doing it for the next film.
Okay.
Or a mention later, or something. I honestly thought even when Cassie opened the portal and he was like I thought he was gonna manage to grab and get pulled into Earth or something like that.
Oh, Kang would have been. He would have escaped.
Kang. Like that. I thought, boom, cut to black, and you're like, oh shit, like he's on Earth now. Something.
Cool.
I'm 100% with
That's
Jader.
fair.
Had Kang gotten to Earth as well through that portal, I'd have been fine with it because it would have maintained the stakes. It wouldn't have made it better for me if they drew it out to the post-credit scene. It's either like give this moment stakes and play that through, or don't give this moment stakes. And they try to have it both ways. Like this moment of stakes, everything could end. We could be stuck in the quantum realm. Look at this battle. Aren't you on the edge of your seat? Yeah, it's over. We're gonna bring him back. It's fine. Everyone's good now. And I needed it to have stakes or not have stakes, but they tried both ways and it didn't work for me.
Okay. Let's not miss also during the Council of Kangs. Did you notice that they were using the same way to beam in like Reed Richards did?
Yes.
And
seeing a lot of that being thrown around because the question being is goes in certain.
Go back. What did you say?
In the Council of Kangs, the way that they were all like beaming in, that's the same way that Reed Richards came in when Doctor Strange met the Illuminati.
Yeah,
bro, I didn't even fucking think about that shit.
I thought it was like when I saw that, I was like, Fantastic Four. Like, that's what.
So in some of the iterations in the comics of Kang, he is a descendant of Reed Richards. That is a thing. So that's why a lot of people have thrown that out there of the teleportation being that, or is it just a coincidence?
And then
I kind of think they're not coincidences. What was that?
In the other iterations, he's a descendant of Doctor Doom. So he's always Fantastic Four like related, whether he's Reed Richards' descendant or Doctor Doom's.
Mm-hmm. So are we thinking he's a descendant of Reed Richards? Do we think it's just technology that happens to be borrowed of some sort? We don't know who's actually playing Reed Richards in the MCU proper or whatever. So
I mean, it'd be a nice way to introduce him if he's chasing Kang from another multiverse.
Okay.
Actually, that would be cool, and a cool way to introduce the Fantastic Four without the fucking awesome origin story.
Yep.
Just this is who they are, and this is what they're doing. That I would be
because they're doing origin stories based like on the 60s, I think, right? If I'm not mistaken, that's what I've read.
That's been floating around. Yeah, but there was also the belief that they were going to be stuck in the quantum realm. So I don't know if that's going to be. Now, this is this movie, so we don't act.
I don't think that's going to happen now.
Yeah, that's getting thrown out the window. So, I mean, whatever.
They could always be stuck in the negative zone.
I was going to say,
yes,
because 5 hours was 5 years there.
Mm-hmm. That's also true.
Okay.
Alex has another comment in here. I really wanted Scott to die in this movie. More suspense. All right, so we're killing Michael Douglas. We're killing Scott. Jesus, man.
Tell me
what's going on here?
How much would you have been like Kang is a fucking badass?
I mean,
you'd be ready for his next appearance. Instead, you're like, dude, Ant-Man beat you in a fist fight. I mean, if you think about it, he beat.
Didn't though. You're being really unfair to Kang, Rick.
Kang beat his ass.
He beat Falcon in a fight. He beat Kang in a fight.
Kang
beat
busted up
because
his.
Falcon didn't know what the hell he was fighting at that time. He was what the hell?
None of these people know. They're not in the UFC. They don't get to watch tape.
No, but like he didn't know shrinking technology even existed. I mean, like Falcon at that point. Come on,
he's an Avenger.
And Kang busted Ant-Man's ass in this movie. He broke his fucking helmet. He would have killed him if it wasn't Hope Van Dyne. And you're saying that Kang wasn't a badass? When he finally goes out and says, oh no, I'm going to put this rabble down on my own and single-handedly kills hundreds of people, that's not badass enough for you? What does it take for you, Rick? How many people have to die for you to be impressed?
Half of you.
Wow. Main characters have to die.
Half the universe has to die.
Mike, just kill Michael Douglas. He would have been fine.
Yeah, really, just one.
Oh my God.
Just goosh.
How about one main character, one named character?
Didn't even have to be Kang. It could have been a heart attack.
You wanted to kill Hank Pym and Scott Lang. Jesus.
That flying sun monster came closer to killing Ant-Man than Kang did.
Oh my God.
God damn, dude.
Wow. This has got a real dark turn, man. I was not expecting this at all. Man.
Oh man.
All right. Tim, you got any? Did you want anyone to die? Maybe. I mean, maybe Cassie should have died or something. I mean, should we have killed Hope or like who else?
I was going to say Cassie, but that's not too dark, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, was that where Hope?
Phase 4.
Well, actually, everybody
was littered with death, and now we don't kill.
One of the main people that I hear people are getting pissed. I'm hearing a lot of people are pissed off with the way Kathy she's one of the biggest negatives if you read reviews that people aren't liking.
Well, she was annoying. She was a bit of an annoying. She was, but it's just I would be annoying too if I
dude.
I'd be
She's a
annoying too
teenager
if I
that
was
has shrinking tech. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'd be a dick
That's
too if I
exactly.
could shrink myself down and pop up
Yeah.
anywhere I want. I'd be a real asshole if I had that technology.
Yeah.
I kind of see what Rick was saying. If Michael Douglas would have sacrificed himself to get the rest of them out, that would have been pretty cool. I mean, that would have been a good way to go, because how many more does Michael Douglas have in him as far as these movie goes? But I did think that this was going to end on a downer. I did think it was going to end on a downer. And I was kind of hoping it was going to end on a downer too, but you know what? Whatever. I still like the fact that Scott questioned everything in the last 5 minutes. Like, was that good? I don't know. Really? I don't. So I kind of like that too. But I really thought
as that was going on, I thought we were going to get a glimpse of a Kang at the very end. That's another thing that I thought.
Like being the cook.
Where I'm like, oh, where is it? I thought he was going to be like, I thought he was going to like serve him his food, some shit. And then it didn't happen. And I was like, all right, post credit, something's got to happen post credit. And I thought it was going to be more with I thought the mid credit was going to be with Scott involved and, him figuring out he's not gone. But it wasn't that at all. Obviously, we know he's not gone, but Scott still doesn't know. Yeah. So I thought it was honestly, same thing. Downer. Even with the trailer, when he says that line, like, I don't have to win, we both got to lose. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh shit, okay, something's gonna go down, and no, didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, from the trailers too. I mean, we were talking about it in one of the opening segments that with the Guardians trailers, everyone seems to think that Rocket's gonna bite it.
I've been saying Rocket's gonna bite it for like 2 years now, to be honest with you. I'm like, he's the only one that has not died, dusted, or anything. He's the only one that survived it all. And James Gunn loves to kill and rip people's hearts out. I am 100% saying that Rocket's gonna die, I think. But now they're making it too obvious on the trailers, where I'm like, probably not. But 2 years ago, 100% I would have said yes.
So you're saying the MCU's doing their
Their
thing
goodbye. Well, they said that this is
over.
the goodbye for the Guardians, right?
Yeah.
I think this is. They're not even going to be in the Kang Dynasty or
supposedly not.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So it all depends on how this one ends. But I honestly, I don't know if you've seen those videos. I don't know. I don't have TikTok. I get the TikTok videos like a week later on Instagram. But I've seen that some guy mentioned that the first Guardians logo had it was like brown and gold, and that's when Groot dies. And if you see volume 2, it's blue. And it's Yondu that dies, and then if you see this one, it's brown again or some shit or gold in this one. So, but I also said they're introducing Adam Warlock, so maybe that's why we have gold around. But if you notice,
one and done.
Can you imagine that shit? They just fucking kill. They introduce him and kill him in the same film. That would suck, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta believe he's a character that's setting up for the long haul.
I think so too. I think that's why I think maybe Bautista's been very vocal, but
the Infinity Gauntlet's already happened.
I say Rocket and Drax go.
I think Drax is biting it. I would say
Drax is definitely biting it too. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we know Bautista's gone, so
yeah.
So what you're saying is Guardians Volume 3 is one that's gonna end on the sad note.
It's going to have all the deaths that this movie didn't have.
Yes.
The trailers look depressing as shit. So, yeah, I'm going with Drax and Rocket in this one.
Another joyless film from Marvel Studios.
They've turned into the DCU after all.
They went too dark.
All right. Well, I guess that pretty much kind of wraps this episode up for us. Guys, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. Tim and Jada and Rick, thanks so much.
Guys, cheers to 100. Congrats.
100.
Cheers, fellas. Thanks a lot.
Oh, I don't have anything. I just, cheers.
That's all right.
Don't drink that because then you're going to be trying to give us
He did move to Texas.
Everyone stop dying, man. All right. So, we'll be back next week with we're just going with a 101 there. We'll be talking about the latest episode of The Flash and more of The Last of Us and a movie that is TBD at the moment because Jason and I will figure out where we're going to take things because we got Shazam coming up in a few weeks. So we got 3 weeks.
Can we do Cocaine Bear?
Blank Man is streaming right
Dude,
now on HBO.
That's what you and Kyle should come back for. A Cocaine Bear review or
I'm going.
Or Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
I've already
like that. It should be off the wall.
I haven't seen Winnie the Pooh. They don't have it in this fucking
I'm
theater,
going to
man.
see Cocaine Bear.
Rick has seen it. Rick is the only one here who has seen that movie.
Yeah. It's great.
Oh, you saw
if
it?
you like Friday the 13th, you'll enjoy it.
Oh, I love Friday the 13th. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's badass. All right. So yeah, I've been checking to see if they open it in more theaters, and it's not here. So I'm like, fuck. Cocaine Bear is gonna play tomorrow, so I'm gonna watch that.
I'm seeing that Sunday. Sunday afternoon. So
I might actually see that tomorrow afternoon.
Playoffs tomorrow.
I am so excited for it because it's gonna be so stupid and it's gonna be great. I can't wait.
You gotta see Blood and Honey. You gotta if you're hyped for Cocaine Bear, you gotta see Winnie the Pooh.
Wow.
No, I was hyped. I was hyped for Winnie the Pooh too, but again, this fucking theater didn't have it, and I was super pissed off. And the closest theater that has it is 2 hours away or 2.5 hours away. So
it was me and 10 goth kids sitting in there watching it.
Sounds right.
Yeah, I was like, I've always been a bit of a goth kid, I guess.
But yeah, so we'll see you guys next week. Tim, you got anything coming up? You got A to Z on Friday, or?
Yeah, I think we're gonna fuck around. We're gonna fuck around tomorrow night, do some A to Z action, and then Tuesday we'll come back with Just Too Sweet.
Okay. Jader, I know you got you and Kyle figuring it out.
A to Z.
We'll figure it out.
A to Z. Sorry to cut you off, Jader. A to Z. Set It Off is not a bad movie, Tim.
Come on and argue.
What?
Come on and argue. Come on.
You don't like Set It Off?
Set It Off, Cocaine Bear, Blood and Honey. I mean, man,
that's what PCP is all about, bro.
Yeah, you're right, man. We're all over it. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So then, yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Peace.